FBGlive. It's like confusion, but straightforward.
And let the man go through. Let the man go through.
Who's the man?
Move aside and let the man go through. Let the man go through.
Yeah.
Are we the men?
Shut up, let him go through.
Let the man go through.
No, let him. He seems to want to go through.
Let the man go through.
Well, he got somebody to sing for him.
Well, maybe that's him. Is he singing about the man, or is he the man?
He might be the man.
This is FBGlive Friday.
We made it another week, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh my God. It's been kind of, well, hectic,
Wet.
slow, wet.
Well, we like it wetter than FBGlive.
Yeah. Well, it's a sporadic wet here in Fredericksburg or Gillespie County.
Right.
You know, different areas are getting flooded and some areas are getting like no rain whatsoever.
Just all the humidity.
Right. I'm sitting there outside and what do they call it? Lano? Lano. What do they call it? Lano?
I guess it's Yano. When it is in Yano.
I call it Lano, and I've lived here the longest.
Right. No, I think I've lived here longer than you.
Okay, well you guys confuse me.
But I think it's Yano because of the fact that it's a Spanish word, right?
So it's Yano.
And it's that double L, which makes the Y sound in English.
And Steve's call it Lano.
And,
Or you could call it Yano.
Yano.
Okay, well they didn't get any
Yano.
rain when, you know, Fredericksburg just got slammed.
Yeah, it was crazy, man.
It was just
I got
like,
stuck at the Walmart.
yeah, more Walmart water waiting.
Yep.
Yeah, that's great. So what else besides water has been going on with dear Fredericksburg? You know,
Fredericksburg.
well, local. What's going on in your life there, Frankie? Actually, what I want to know is Wednesday.
Right.
Tell me about
Okay.
Wednesday. I've been holding back just asking you the questions about what did you do Wednesday? What did you do?
Okay. Anyway, so Wednesday, we were doing digital resistor Monday, right? So
Right.
you and I talked, and I was all, well, hey, I don't work Wednesday, so we're gonna do activism Wednesday, right? And the week before, I had got a 100 "Don't Take the Plea" pamphlets that were that I got from the Shire Society,
Right.
the guys from New Hampshire, the Free King,
LRN.FM.
right, from the Free King Project. And I have 4. No. But so, anyways, so I have these, right? I got them printed here locally here in town and whatever, and I have these. So I was like, well, I'm gonna go up to the courthouse and I'm gonna pass them out. Well, it just so happens on Wednesday there was no court. So, but they have this little table, right, where you put this, where you can put all this stuff. That they have like the abuse hotline, CPS type stuff,
Right.
driving type things, right?
Pamphlet alley.
Yeah, it's just like this pamphlet table. So I go over there and I don't see anybody around. So I just initially put them down because it's always easier to ask for forgiveness than ask for permission.
Okay.
Right. And so, anyways, we leave.
Definitely one model.
So I leave and I go over there to the municipal court because I want to put some over there too, right? Because there's 2 different courthouses here, and so you go. Anyways, so I go over there and I go to put them out. I asked one of the secretaries. Her name's Sally. She's the receptionist for Judge McCurdy.
Okay.
Anyways, so I asked her if I could put these out, and she goes, "Well, hold on, let me go ask the judge." So she goes to the judge, and Miss McCurdy has history with us. Well, at least with me, because she's the one who tried me for the stickers.
Oh.
Right? She wasn't the judge. She was the city attorney, the prosecuting attorney
right.
for the city, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, now she's a judge. So, anyways, so she comes back with my pamphlet and says, "Well, no, you had to go ask the county commissioner." And I'm like, "All right, fine, whatever." So I was like, "Well," she goes, "Well," and they're not. She goes, "We'll have to go ask the county commissioner. They were planning to do it," which means nothing would have got done, right? So I asked her, I go, "Do you mind if I just fast track it? I'll walk right over there. I ain't got nothing else to do. I'll walk over there and I'll go talk to one of the commissioners and ask them." And so she's like, "Oh yeah, that's fine." So I run over there, right? I go look for a commissioner. One of the commissioners are in, and there's no judges. Nobody's in on Wednesday. So, I think they knew I was coming, so they all just left town.
Hmm.
But anyways, so nobody's there. And so one of these ladies, I forgot her name, but she works in the county courthouse. She goes, well, I'll tell you what, let's go look at it. And I had to, at that moment, I had to tell her that, oh, I already put them out there. Because I was trying to get permission to put them in the municipal court.
Right.
And I had just...
They're already in the county.
Right. So I go, well, I just want you to know I already put them out there. And she goes, well, let's go look at them. Well, they're not. They're neatly stacked, you know. Look, and you can see a picture of it. Right. You can see a picture of on our fan page. And but
or
anyway,
pick one up at the Tejas
Smoke Depot.
Shop.
Right. There's there. Anyway, so she sees it. She goes, no, that's fine. She doesn't pick it up, doesn't open it, doesn't look at it, nothing. Right. All it says on the front page is, "Don't take the plea." That's all it says. Right. Mm-hmm. And so she goes. Me and her start talking because I was like, well, hey, if I wanted to be a judge, what would I have to do? And she goes, well, you don't have to have any kind of legal degree. You don't have to be a lawyer or none of that stuff. And then I was like, well, what about a county commissioner? And we went and looked all that stuff up, and that was a fun little conversation.
Are you going to be a judge?
No, it would be interesting if I ran for judge. Right? I mean, well, Mark Strayer won again, you know, as our county judge. And he ran unopposed. Nobody ran against him.
Right.
It's kind of like the sheriff with Buddy Mills. So what is nobody run against you guys?
Mm-hmm.
What do you know about everybody? But that's just, you know, it's speculation. It's just like, but why? You're not, you know, you got to be bored with the job by now.
We've been talking about you in politics way too much and running for this office, that office.
I'm going to eventually run for something. I might run for delivery boy of the year. So anyway,
crazy. Okay, go on.
So I go over there, and the lady's she's cool with it, and she goes, well, I'm going to tell you like this. She goes, if the judge comes in on Monday, because the judge wasn't due back until Monday, but if the judge comes in on Monday and he sees him and he's off, nah, I can't help it. And I was like, that's cool, that's fine, but at least they got the ride there till Monday.
Right.
I'm cool with it. And she's all, okay, ha ha ha. I told her about FBGlive, and we giggled, and I walked over back to the municipal, and Sally, Miss McCurdy's, or Judge McCurdy's, sorry, I guess I should give the royalty their titles, right?
I don't know titles, but
so
go
anyway,
on.
Judge McCurdy, her front woman, Sally, she was, I guess, off running, doing something else, and so I talked to another JP's receptionist and asked her, had to run the spiel all over again, da-da-da-da-da. And, well, she comes back to me and goes, well, you know what, we have to ask the county commissioner. And I go, so we have to ask Officer Chris Nevins. Yeah. And she goes, well, okay, yeah, you'll have to do that. She goes, we'll have to talk to the county attorney, which is Christopher Nevins. And I was like, okay. She goes, but he's not going to be in until Monday. And I was like, okay, well, you want to hold on to that and so you can talk to him? And she goes, no, you can come back and talk to him. I'm like, goddamn, bitch. What do you mean? I already came here twice today and went and ran around, but whatever.
Chris isn't going to call you back?
No. So anyways, so I leave there.
You don't have fun, though, Frankie.
It doesn't matter. He can email me. He has an email account.
Yeah.
I've seen it.
I know.
We've corresponded. We've gone to court over it.
Sorry, that was a sidetrack. You know, I just, you know, contact me. How? Facebook me.
Right? Come on.
Okay.
He's got a Facebook page. I've seen it too.
Yeah. Do you like it?
No, well, it's like his real one. It's not like a page.
Yeah, it's a personal thing.
Yeah, it's a personal thing.
Yeah.
I don't think he'd accept my friend request, but I'm gonna try. See what he does. Anyways, right? So she tells me I can come back, and I'm like, okay, well, whatever. So I'm like, well, I'm gonna go over to City Hall because FBGlive is going to be in a parade.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're going to be in the Christmas parade because every year.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we should say.
Well, we tried last year.
We just didn't have the resources. Yeah, I know. Yeah, we really didn't want to do it.
But this year, it seems like everything's going. We're doing a lot of events this year. You know, that will be the third event of 2014, right?
I'm trying to think of what the other one is. I mean, of course, we got the RT.
Number 2 will be October 4th at the Tejas.
Oh, right, yeah.
smoke
Tejas,
shop.
yeah, the Smoke Depot, they're having
Yeah.
their Customer Appreciation Week, and then on the last day of that, they'll be having they'll be giving out hot dogs.
Right, we're going to be doing a little something, show up over there, and we're not too sure exactly all the plans.
I know I'm getting a hot dog and some beer. I know that much.
Yeah, I'm told that they're going to have good hot dogs.
More likely. Those people don't, yeah.
Okay, that's pretty local, but I'm still interested in the story about City Council and the FBGlive float.
Okay, so yeah, we go find out about I go to City Hall to find out about the float, right? And the float, there is no payment. I thought, we were going to have to pay like $60 and everything. All we have to do is fill out an application. She'll send it to us on October 1st. Let me see that lady. Oh, well, I went to City Hall and I found out that, oh no, you don't need to talk to me. You need to go to the guys at the Chamber of Commerce, and you need to go talk to the guys at the Chamber of Commerce. And I'm like, what? And so, drive over there, go to that little, the place behind the Nimitz. And so we go there, and I go in there and I go talk to her, and the lady that I need to talk to is the same lady that, you remember a few shows back when I talked to you about going to go see that guy who was I guess a spokes guy or liaison for Ted Cruz that happened to be in this area. And I went to go ask him about some of his pro-Israel comments and his whole war on drug comments. And so anyways, she was the same lady that I spoke to beforehand that told me that she's a closet Democrat. Because she thought because she heard some of the things I wanted to ask this
What does
guy.
that mean, a
I don't know.
closet Democrat?
Well, apparently everyone here not so much anymore, but for the most part though, most people in Fredericksburg don't admit to being socialist. I mean, Democrat.
Well, socialist light. It's nowhere near socialist light, but it is.
So I talked to her, right, and she goes, as soon as I said, yeah, I'm here with FBGlive, and she goes, oh yeah, okay, I remember you, and so I was like, we want to get in the float, and we're just wondering, what do we have to do? I know there's an application, how much is it going to cost, what's going on, do we have to be a member of Chamber of Commerce, yada, yada, yada. She's like, no, all it is an application. You kind of descript what your float's going to be, like we put truck and trailer and lights.
Right.
Something. You have to come see it, though.
Yeah, for sure.
You're going to have to come see this.
It's going to be crazy. You can listen here on We Resistors Radio. We'll talk about it for the next...
Leading up to it?
Yeah, leading up to it.
Well, because we're going to have to build this thing.
Do you think it's going to have flames?
Instagram pictures of it in the process.
We should put a dragon on it.
Yeah.
Oh my God, we are terrible at Instagramming, right?
You guys are.
Well, I don't know. On Friday
week.
night, whatever. What's good on Instagram for you?
Everything.
Just make it the girl's job. Get it over with.
Try to, but you keep on forgetting hashtags.
We're going to have to remodel the studio so they don't have to look at the same damn pictures.
I know, yeah. We're working on that too. About we're going to have live streams going on.
Well, yeah.
And eventually there'll be a studio in-cam. There'll be an in-cam studio.
Yeah.
And we'll be able to flip you off while on the air.
Do you plan on doing that?
It's going to happen.
Yeah, probably.
I don't know what it is. It's going to happen. I blame rap music.
So new for Fredericksburg is what? Basically water a little bit, some places.
New water, we got some more water, yeah.
290, the new stuff, the aquifers
the gateway
flooded.
Is the aquifer?
Well, the road thingies on the side on 290,
oh yeah,
they over flooded and it covered 290, so you couldn't actually pass, and it didn't. Well, I don't think that they counted for the amount of water that came down.
Are you sure 290? Because I mean, I tried
right here.
290.
Right here, 290.
Yeah.
Yeah. First-hand information from one of the drivers.
I guess I missed it.
Okay, we'll clarify that next week.
I don't know.
We'll get first-hand testimony of how they failed and how much water actually came down.
So anyways, yeah, we got wet.
We might get water.
We might get some more, hopefully. What is it? Oh, City Council will be meeting Monday.
Yeah.
They will be meeting to continue their joint meeting, which is between the City Council, Historical Society, and the Planning and Zoning Commissioning.
Yeah.
And those guys are going to talk really fun stuff.
What are
Sidewalks and nature trails,
Wow.
AKA, and sidewalks includes bike trails.
Yeah, American
bike
Planning
paths.
Association, sure.
And so, yeah, it's a lot of APA stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And the 21-ish regionalism coming to you live from the Hill Country.
God. So check it out.
Maybe we'll get Nancy to tell us
Radio
about it.
reception was really poor, and I ended up bouncing to one of the local stations, and I heard a commercial by the AAOCG, the Alamo Area Council of Governors.
ACOG.
ACOG.
Right.
The ACOG folks were letting us know they figured it out. You know, leaving your car run for 30 seconds doesn't save any gas, right? Because most people go, well, if I have to shut off my car, it takes more gas.
Fuel, yeah.
Right, and they're like, so we want to let you know, shut off your car, don't leave it idle. And I'm kind of like going, well, I don't care about the gas, when I let it run. There's a specific reason.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm traveling, I'm leaving my car running because I want
I've got
it to
a
be
kid in the back seat.
controlled, right? Well, if I'm only getting out for a few seconds and it's 110 outside, my car is running in that location for a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Fredericksburg's different than a lot of other parts of Texas, and I'm sure a lot of other parts of Texas, more people aren't worried about somebody jumping in their car and taking off with it.
Yeah, did I tell you about when I was at the laundromat and the girl that works there, she asked me, do you leave your kid in the car while you come in and get your laundry?
Yeah.
And
what is it in your business, bitch?
Right, but I told her, it's not more than like 5 minutes. I'm just getting stuff out of the dryer and I'm throwing it back in the car.
Yeah,
and he's asleep, and I leave the car running with the air conditioner on. And I can see him out the window. I can see the car. It's not that big a deal.
It is pretty
But
crazy.
people think it's a deal.
Well, yeah, because what was
I'm
it?
gonna wake him
Atlanta
up,
had
drag
8
him in.
deaths because people are idiots and left their kids in
Yeah, and I
a
get that.
non-running car,
I
windows
get that.
all the way up.
And this lady
People
did
are-
tell me, well, I've seen people just leave their car in there for like 30 minutes, and it's 90 degrees out, and yeah, that sucks. But that's not me.
Totally. Hey, laundry, Fredericksburg laundry stories brings me into this. Check this out, Frankie. Haven't talked to you about this at all yet. I go into the laundry place and I throw, wash and dry and all the other stuff, and I look at the board all the time because I want to know what people are putting up there. Anyways, I saw these ones that were kind of weird. It's not like handyman, lawnmower guy, cleaning person. I got one that says, cancer does not occur in plant foods. It's a little, cutout. Somebody took like a piece of paper and just does not make sense. The other one says, cancer does not occur in plant foods. And then we got another one that says, in order to have
Well, I like the second one, though. This one's pretty cool, man.
Right.
This one's
Well,
a little better, right?
There were
It's a little
stacks
better.
Yeah,
of these
it's pretty and all,
on,
but it doesn't make any sense to me.
Right. Why would you put that out?
I
Why
think
would you
this is
put that
supposed to be
out?
a non-GMO thing.
Okay, next one. In order to have good health, we must have good blood. The grains with fruits, nuts, and vegetables contain all the nutritive properties necessary to make good blood. And so that's the third card.
Yeah.
And that's the only information these individuals put out.
Are
they
they
put out,
Are they
they're
trying
all
to
the
get people
same.
to donate blood
Is
or
that
something?
fun or what?
Well, there's no website. There's no
There's
number.
They make no point.
But
they make a statement right
They're trying
here.
to make some kind of statement, though, here. We're going to... I'll get y'all up there.
So what I was
This
thinking is these guys
They're-
are doing a publicity campaign for the new health food store in town.
Oh, that Blue
Maybe.
Natural or whatever
yeah.
it is?
But
Don't
they're
carry
doing a
on this
poor
meme
job
that looks
of
grassroots-ish.
advertising.
Well, yeah, exactly. But Steve said the hashtag word right there, grassroots. Ish, right. And this makes it seem like somebody here in Fredericksburg is behind it.
And these are memes they want to put out there.
Yeah.
That's why it's in two different things. That's the meme. Cancer does not occur in plant foods. What does that mean? Sunlight? Plant food? Isn't that sunlight? Right.
It doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. It's local. It's
Anyone
Fredericksburg.
can get cancer.
Head into the laundromat on Main Street. That's right across from Jack's. You'll see the particular things. And we were thinking about
they have a sign on their door.
I was telling Jack we should co-opt it and put our own nonsensical stuff there next to theirs.
Cancer does not occur at FBGlive.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
It might if you're sitting there eating potato chips.
No way, we make our own potato chips.
If you have a history of cancer, you might get cancer.
Yeah.
So, okay, right. So they're going to have this meeting about regionalism and all that good stuff, right? And then they talked more about the guy that's being extradited that called in the bomb threat last week. You know, more of that nonsense is going on. Oh. But Fredericksburg is kind of lame. They talked about what is that building? The museum that the former Texas Rangers Foundation built. That it should be done by May 15th, 2015, which actually happens to be the start or the end of Police Week, National Police Week. So they talked about that should be on schedule. Well, it's going to open no matter what. I found out, too, that you can start taking tours of the county jail on the after the first of the year. So after January 2015, mid-January, if you want to go see our fancy new jail, you can just walk around and be out, oh, look at this place. I had to pay for this, and I'm still paying for it.
If I get drunk and disorderly, this is where I'm staying.
Right. I'm going to be paying for this for the next 20 fucking years.
Yeah, right. Good thing I don't pay taxes.
Taxes? Where we're going, we don't need those taxes. Tax that ass for coming in the wrong neighborhood, maybe. I don't know. What are these taxes they speak of? Hey, whoa, I need those still. You can't take them away from me. Okay.
Calm down.
Anyways, so, that's all about the nonsense. But about local stuff that's going on.
Oh, prom.
Homecoming, not
it's
prom.
Homecoming,
Does
not
it
prom,
matter
sorry.
to me? I mean, who's my home? Okay.
Well, it is my home.
We're still talking about local stuff.
I live here. I was born here. This is my home.
Yeah.
I hate when people talk shit about Fredericksburg.
I hated homecoming, and I only participated in homecoming because I played in the Fredericksburg band.
Yeah.
And that was really fun. That's my most favorite part of high school was band, but I hated all that football crap and the prom crap and the stupid crap. I just wanted to make music.
Yeah, play music, make it sound good on the field. That's great. I don't know. I guess everything was slow for me. You know, I was sitting there. I spent a lot of time just working and, oh God, oh poor Frankie.
Anyways, you were spending a lot of the time
just working, trying to make ends meet.
This week?
Yeah. You know, and it's good. You know, I'm glad.
Well, that's why you got us here, man. That's why you got Jen Chilla and F in the third. We're here. We got FBGlive's back, man. That's why we'll help get all this stuff set up. And you know me, I'm not very good about planning the show and everything like that. I like to just go out there and see if I'm going to get arrested. That's basically what every time I go out into town, I go to City Hall, I go to one of the city council. And so, well, let's see if Frankie calls Steve in an hour and say, hey, Steve, I'm in jail.
So your joint session, are you going to go there Monday? Is that a thought, a plan?
It is a plan. It's going to depend how tired I am. Because I got to go clean chimneys that day. And so it depends on that. And I really would, because I want to get a little bit of money to put on our Wi-Fi, our wireless hotspot, so that we can Ustream it. So that people that can't make, that's what I brought it up to the last time I went up there. I brought it up to a couple people of City Council that, Bastrop, Dripping Springs, and I named off a few others. These guys have a free Ustream channel that someone put up, and And because I was trying to get their Wi-Fi password, you know, for the law enforcement building and all that, but they wouldn't give it to me. Mm-hmm. But if they would have gave it to me, I would have broadcast, you know, had the live stream. It would have been the highest audio quality because it would have just been done on an iPod.
Okay.
But yeah, anyway, sorry.
Yeah, that should be totally doable. I mean, all we need is $10 to stream the city council. So maybe you and I can pitch in $2 here, $2 there, and we'll come up with $4 in Common Core. We'll get 10.
Right. But yeah, and if you want to help us with that, you can go to FBGlive.com. We got a Bitcoin little tab, and you can throw some bits at us, or you can throw some FRNs through that thing. You know that, right? They can give us, you know, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that's why it has. That's why if you go to the website, it has the conversion thing. It shows FRNs and then Bitcoin on the other side, BTCs. Because then we can decide. Because I think our Bitcoin wallet allows us to.
I'm not sure about that.
Well, it's all right. We can find out, right? But because I think our wallet allows us to decide how we want to do it. Because I mean, shit. Still, you have to use FRNs at some places, which is horrible.
Somebody needs to buy Bitcoins to donate Bitcoin, and if the widget actually allows for, that would be interesting.
Oh, I looked into getting us a P.O. box, so that if people want to go old school and send us some money orders or a couple ounces of silver, they can send it through the P.O. box. I don't have it yet, but we're gonna do it probably.
Yeah.
Shit.
Well,
but I really don't want a bank account, though.
Okay.
I hate banks.
Yeah, me too.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Speaking of banks, and this is local too, have you seen that, since you went to Llano, you probably went on Llano Street to take 16 to go to Llano, right? Mm-hmm. Right, did you see that Chase Bank is getting a new copper roof?
Yes, I was wondering if they were hiding gold there.
Well, they're hiding something with a copper roof. That shit ain't cheap.
It's expensive, right?
Or they just don't want to get the flu.
Right.
Mm.
How much of a bailout did they get?
Chase?
Yeah. They all got bailouts.
Right.
They all gave the money back because they all took the money from us. Right. So we're putting money into banks to do what? They're getting fees and getting rich, and all we're doing is letting them change checks into cash. Why aren't we using cash? We use FRNs. We use checks and Visa, MasterCard.
Right. I was going to say, I would make the argument that people really don't even use FRNs anymore. If you think about it, because most FRNs exist digitally. Most people use their bank card, their Visa card, their MasterCard, or whatever, right? A lot of people aren't really carrying cash, you know? So, FRNs aren't real.
Well, a lot of tellers now aren't skilled in the handling of FRNs or paper money. You know, I watched one fumble around with them the other day. I'm like, oh, this is a lot of money, and she's counting out a couple $100 bills and a bunch of 20s in stacks. Which is, you know, a total of $400, right? And I don't know why.
That should be pretty easy for a teller.
Yeah. I don't know. The world's gone to pot. But our contribute thing, you have to know how to use Bitcoin.
Okay.
Right?
Sorry.
And so if you go to our website, you can take your little this or Android that and point it at the little chip-in QR code, and that'll scan it, and all of a sudden you can give us whatever you want to give us. You can pay the $10 and we can cover the city council meeting, right? That would be really cool.
Or you could give us $1,000 and we can get a mixer.
Get a mixer, right?
$1,000 would only be, what is it? 4 or 5 big ones?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's what, 450, something like that right now? Mm-hmm. But we'll find out later when we hear from the Liberty Bee.
Yeah, well, definitely. But we will be talking a little bit more about Bitcoin and cyber technology and actually the black market of cyberspace.
Right.
And they call it the deep web, right? Or the cybernet.
Right.
I'm sorry, I can't wait to actually start talking about that again.
Oh, that's cool.
You know.
I mean, Well, let's stay a little bit local for a little bit longer.
There you go.
All right. Okay. What is this flyer you have in front of us here, Steve? This Appleseed thing. You want to tell us about this?
So, you know about the Appleseed project, right, Frankie?
Well, I know a little here and there because our friends David and Jody of Smoke Depot, they participated, and then we did that interview with Mark Martinez.
Right.
At the RT rally, yeah. But anyway.
So the Liberties are the Appleseed. God, I'm confusing my stuff. The Appleseed folks are they talk about firearm instructions, but they also talk about, safety, of course. That comes with all gun safety things. But they talk about freedom and liberty, and one of the vehicles that they use to talk about freedom and liberty is the actual Constitution. So as you go through one of the Appleseed project programs, you get a good general overview of why firearms are outlined in the Constitution and why they're important, for our society in general, or, the United States of America. I just wish we followed the Constitution. That's the one thing that goes wrong in that argument.
Are you reading that? Is that what it says on there, or is that what you feel about it?
That's what I feel about it.
Sorry, it just
doesn't say anything.
No? It just tells you when it is?
It tells us when it is.
When is it again?
Well, in October, on the 19th and the 20th, they'll be in Fredericksburg. You can go to appleseedusa.org. You can find out all, the different locations. They've got some in Dallas, in Amarillo, Midland, College Station. Well, they're just coming into go. In October, they're going to be just pumping out all sorts of stuff. But anyways, they've always been good folks, and they're focused on freedom and liberty. And I am plagiarizing because they really do like to talk Constitution.
Well, I mean, that seems to be the nationalism and the patriotism. I don't know what it is. I guess, well, it is called the patriotism, but that seems to be the natural thing of Americans, because they've been taught that we're exceptionalists because of this paper called the Constitution.
Right.
Which is really cute, because you talk to people about the Constitution and they're like, oh yeah, and then you tell them, oh, you mean that document that said that gave government power that extended to the well-being of its people, which basically mean if they wanted to make a law, make some kind of regulation, some restriction, and they thought it was for the best well-being of its people, they could do so. And then you ask them about the Articles of Confederation, which we should do a show about.
Right.
We should do a show about the Articles of Confederation. Because that was crazy. That was a brief moment in American history where we were free.
Free.
Yeah.
Yeah, but, leaving free, they had a standing army and they couldn't feed the army because they didn't have money or consensus to feed the army. So Washington was kind of stuck out there with no food, and Washington said, or the government told George Washington, they told him, well, hey man, you guys are gonna have to starve for a bit, because they recessed and they went home.
Yeah.
And he goes, well, hey, okay, they went home. All you guys, you go home. You sent them home. At least that's somehow, how the story goes. You have to look at history. History is kind of a weird thing, and they talk a lot about, the United States of America and how George Washington was the first president. But he wasn't really.
14.
Okay, yeah.
By the math, and he was 14.
If you do that math, yeah, the real math, but we're doing Common Core, I guess. I'm sorry, I shouldn't be beating on Common Core. It's just weird. It doesn't have anything to do with learning. It has everything to do with memorization, which is creating an individual who, is able to go to school, let's say at Fredericksburg High School, and ingest a bunch of data that they give, that the federal government actually gives you. One of the huge problems that we face in here in Fredericksburg and across the nation is going to be the changes that are going to be occurring in our school system as they leave these quote independent school districts and they move off into charter schools. This has been a huge movement, and people don't see it coming. They've repassed a couple charter initiatives, and we got it to you first, folks. So you're at FBG Live that you're not going to have an independent school district, and get used to it. You know, it's going to be a charter.
Well, Fredericksburg, I guess St. Mary's and Heritage are not charter schools, but on Ambleside, I guess they're not charter schools.
Private
they're
schools.
Private schools.
Right.
Which is close to charter schools?
No, a charter school is when the government gets together and it says, well, this is our criteria, how much you bid? Mm-hmm. And then an independent party comes out and says, we bid this. And then the charter school goes, okay, so what's your criteria? And so they take the criteria, and then they add their own administrative processes and procedures, and there'll be a government subcontractor that gets paid. Kind of like the prison industrial complex. But right. For kids.
But for kids, which is where you get them, right? You get them when they're young. Well, I guess I wonder if ACOG's going to handle that, because that is a part of the Alamo Council of Government, roads, emergency things, schools, right. Transit, all kinds of fun stuff like that. So that'd be interesting to watch that shift, right?
Yeah. Hey, do you ever listen to the regular radio, Frankie?
Like
music stuff?
Occasionally, like sometimes. That? I mean, if I'm riding with somebody else, it I have no control of the radio.
Right.
Like a friend pointed out to me one time, he goes, well, there's a reason why the power switch is on the driver's side. It's because the radio is built for the driver's comfort, not yours. So if I want to listen to, Shania Twain all day, well, guess what we're going to listen to? And I was like, whoa, hold on.
Girlfriend radio.
I was a guy.
It's on the right.
Many guys like Shania Twain.
This bitch is hot.
Which?
What?
Okay, you're done. You're cut off.
You're cut off. You know what? No, you gotta let him slide, man. I mean, he's from California, right?
Is she country?
Yes.
Okay.
She's a little bit of rock and roll too, though.
Oh my God, a crossover?
Who saw that coming?
Oh man, you guys are weird sometimes.
Are we?
Well, you're from Texas.
You mean Texas people in general are weird?
Yeah, I'm from California. Yeah. It's kind of hard to.
Well, you're weird.
No, California wrote the book on weird, all right?
Okay.
We in Texas, we're just Texas.
This dude's standing here with a gun.
I bet he's not a Texan. I bet he's not.
He's from Montana.
I bet he's from like Alabama, yeah. Old Montana is part of Texas.
Okay.
Montana
so
is
I'm
part
looking
of
at this picture from the Appleseed Project, and we'll Instagram that by the end of the night. And this dude's like holding this gun. Looks like somebody adjusted his tie so he looks really relaxed.
You know who he kind of looks like? He kind of looks like Jerry Farley. Maybe a little younger.
Sure.
Yeah, he looks like Farley.
Don't take my guns.
Don't take my guns.
Well, you do kind of need them out here, right?
Guns?
Yeah.
Heck yeah, man. It's hunting season. Like right now, I wish I had a gun. Because I live in Deerwood, right here in Fredericksburg. And a lot of people know where Deerwood is, right? That listen to our show. Oh, by the way, this is FBGlive Friday.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm Frankie and Steve and Jen's all here. We're having fun. Mm-hmm. Our website is FBGlive.com. You're listening to us on Blog Talk Radio. On blogtalk.com on the We Resistors radio channel.
Right.
Because it's kind of like...
It's all confusing.
Right, well, Blog Talk's like the YouTube version of talk radio, or
That's
just
right.
podcast.
And you may be listening to this on Spreaker or YouTube.
Yeah.
Or SoundCloud.
It's like confusion, but straightforward.
Right. We're all over the place, and you never know what episode's going anywhere. We haven't really solidified. But we are FBG Live, and you can get us at FBGlive.com.
So you can follow us on Twitter. Definitely follow us on Instagram, because
we like to take pictures.
We take pictures of some weird stuff, right? Find us on Facebook.
Let's talk about the Halloween party.
What?
Halloween.
Who's Halloween?
You're Halloween.
You're a Halloweenie.
Oh my God.
We saw a hot dog hat today.
Yeah, at hospice. Oh, so pretty.
A hot dog hat.
Yeah.
Man.
Oh, in a Stewie Griffin costume. It's just like the big old football head, and it goes over your head, and you see through the eyes, and it's like.
I'm
It's
scared
huge.
now.
It's adult size.
So talk about
Okay, so yeah.
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving?
Oh,
We do.
sorry,
Halloween.
That's
Okay.
a Thursday. We don't do a show on Thursdays. So anyways, Halloween, right? Well, it turns out that, we're FBGlive Friday, right? So that means we're on Friday nights, I guess, right? And Halloween just happens to be on a Friday.
Mm-hmm.
So here at Studio 8, we are going to have a costume contest, a pumpkin carving contest. We're just going to call them contest. I don't know what you'll win. You'll win the pleasure of seeing my beautiful face.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. I
It
don't know
works
that-
for me. I don't know how everybody else feels about it, but it works for me.
Well, I'm going with it.
Cool.
You can say whatever, but it's going to be a Halloween costume or costume party.
Right, we're gonna be there'll be costume. You don't have to come in costume, but we hope you do.
Okay.
It is technically BYOB, but we will have some. We'll supply some. We'll make them up. There will be fun and games.
We're trying to do some live music.
Yeah, we might end up getting some live music here. It's all about arranging things and everybody's schedule lining up. There's a chance. It depends if things fall into place correctly. But there's a chance we might be chunking.
Oh no! How do you chunk in a pumpkin?
If you don't know how to chunk a pumpkin, YouTube it.
You need to get out.
And but yeah, you come by, or if you know what, you don't want to YouTube it.
I'm trying to figure it out in my head. I guess you take a pumpkin and you move it an extreme amount of distance.
Right. Well, I mean, there's several ways to chunk a pumpkin. There's people that use air compression to chunk pumpkins. There's people that use trebuchets to chunk it. There's catapults.
How much air pressure does it take to chunk a pumpkin?
I bet a lot. Depending on the size of the pumpkin. And but we could always do it caber style. Cops like to do the caber toss. You know, the way they carry that big old log
around.
No, what?
I thought that you were talking about the sling.
No, the caber, the big old long pole. It's like fucking 10 feet tall, long pole. It's like a telephone pole,
Okay.
right? And the caber toss, they take it and they go. Whoa, lift it and throw it like 2 feet or whatever. And so we could, I guess, caber toss pumpkin. It doesn't sound as cool as pumpkin chunkin'.
Yeah.
But that, so yeah, that's a Halloween party. Jen's gonna make food.
When is Halloween?
Oh, we might have a band too, right?
Thanks for joining the conversation 10 minutes late.
I was taking a picture on Instagram.
You have headphones.
Yeah, well,
it doesn't take your ears to take a picture.
Sorry.
I'm just saying.
I was taking a picture for Instagram.
But yes.
And now I'm back.
But yes, we may have music, and it's like if all the right scheduling lines up, we might have all that stuff. So it'll be great.
So groovy.
If anything, we will have music regardless because
I have Pandora.
Right, good old internet. And then if you come early, if you come before 7 o'clock, because the party officially does not start till 8 or 9.
Yeah, 8 or 9.
8 or 9 o'clock. But if you come a little bit early, if you come before 7 Texas time, you can hang out with me, Steve, and Jen before we do the show.
Right. Or if you want to get on the show, just let us know in advance.
Yeah, we have an open doors policy here at Studio 8. If you just show up, we might put you on air.
Right.
No, well, you know what? I'm going to take away the mic.
No.
If you just show up, we're probably going to put you on air.
Yeah, we both.
So if you show up, be prepared to go on air.
Right. Hey, you can let the city council know they can come over to our Halloween
Dude,
party.
I'm sending it. The only person I'm scared to send it to, though, is I was thinking about sending it to the sheriff and the chief of police, but they might just send thugs over here, and then that's not cool.
Yeah,
I don't like thugs.
Party canceled.
I don't like gangsters.
Someone gets shot and dies.
Yeah. That's how good people die, is when you call the cops.
man.
Oh, speaking of co-op, sorry. I totally forgot about this
definitely
story.
need to go there.
Right?
Yeah.
I went up to, I don't know, I think I told you this, but I know I told Jen about this earlier, during show prep and everything. But on Activism Wednesday, along on that campaign, when I was passing out pamphlets, I went into the LEC building, which is the
Law Enforcement Center.
The Law Enforcement Center, which is the county jail that's outside of the city limits.
Right.
Well, actually, no, it's now in the city limits, but it's where they're building the new jail, right? It's where they hold city council meetings and all that stuff. I went in there and I decided, well, hey, since I put these up at the courthouse, and then at some point I will be there while they're having court, passing them out.
Really?
Because I still have like 50 plus still to give, right? I went up there with 10 of them and I gave them to the lady at the desk, and I was like, hey, I'm passing these out in the courthouse and giving them to my friends, and I'm encouraging them to do this. I just thought the police would like to know this, so that if they come across somebody that's talking about this stuff, they can actually have a conversation with them and not be caught off guard and everything like that. Because I think the police should be, the chief and the sheriff should be informed about things that us local people are doing.
So what did she say?
She she was a nice lady. I didn't catch her name, but she smiled and she said okay and took it. And because at the same time I asked her, hey,
handouts out there, right?
Right, yeah, for like Crime Stoppers and all that good stuff, all that horrible stuff. But she goes, while I was there, I decided I wanted to know if when you could take a tour of the new jail, right?
Okay.
And so I asked her that. So she walked back there into the back room where the chief and the sheriff's offices are and everything like that. She walked back there with all those packs, and then when found out the answer to my question, comes back within 5 to 10 minutes, or 5 minutes actually. She's like, hey, you can't, that won't be able until after the first of the year. So after January, in January 2016, you can go ahead and
tour the facility.
Tour the new jail, the new Law Enforcement Justice Center, the Gillespie County Justice Center, or some shit like that, however they pitched it to us.
It's kind of like the Hall of Justice with Aquaman.
With Aquaman. That's what happened. Aquaman took charge of justice. And so, anyway, so that's cool, though. But I thought it was necessary because we're fans of PSP here at FBG.
Right.
We love the Peaceful Streets Project. Now, they introduced the idea of filming cops and all that stuff in a more of a here we are, we're filming mentality, right? I'd like to approach our filming of the cops and the police accountability at a more, hey, we're having to have a conversation with you, and we're letting you know where we feel and where we stand as a community. Let's work together, because we both apparently want the same thing. We want everybody to be able to live their life and be happy.
Right.
Without the fear of being robbed, raped, and killed. I think I can't speak for all the guys in blue. I can't speak for all the ones that are like that. But I know a few of the officers that are in blue and in green, because here in Gillespie County the deputies wear green. But I know a few of them, and they basically they want to. They're under that impression. They're good old boys, if you will. They're under that impression that their job is keeping us all safe.
Yeah, so I was driving by the law enforcement building last week, right? And I cruised by it, and there's this dude, right? He has a real bald head and this beard that goes down about a foot. I'm trying to figure out what this guy's doing there. And then he walks over to a plain car and hops in and drives off. And I'm going like, really? You're an undercover cop. You've got this long beard, bald head, and all you do is go try to entrap people? I mean, I know a lot of the Gillespie County law enforcement are in this little undercover war on drugs. This war on drugs has really been detrimental to our society in a whole, and
as a culture, as a world, even.
Yeah.
It has been a real burden, this war on drugs. So, and what's crazy is sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you. Is that most of these guys that are police officers, if you can talk to them one-on-one, no recording and everything like that, because their conversation antics do change, right?
Right. Well, they just want the job, right?
Right.
It's it's the 14th, 12th most dangerous job in the world, but basically it's well paid. You know, some of the earlier paid jobs, construction worker, roofer, and all the trades. You know, the trades are like a high likelihood that you're going to. So you're a cop, and you sit there and you want that job because it's safe, right? And they sit there and they tell them it's dangerous, but they're all running these, you know, flak jackets, right, to protect them and this and that. And I don't know. I don't hear a lot of drama going on with it.
All right, I need to look at this. I need to look at the numbers, but I think it's been quite some time since there's been a police shooting. Recently, there was this police shooting of Bradley Durst. He pulled over a Mexican mafia
in
again.
Fredericksburg, yeah.
Right, again, here we are. Well, he pulled him over for, I think, some minor traffic violation or some nonsense like that. I think a tail light or some nonsense like that, right? But here again, where if there wasn't a war on drugs, that guy wouldn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
That gang member who's in this Mexican mafia is happens to be in our country because that's where the cartel is moving, right?
Right. But yeah, it's crazy. So I wanted to get to the Peaceful Streets clip that you wanted to play.
Oh, yeah.
Is that a good? Because we're running out of time.
Really?
Well, for this segment, we're ready to run to break. We've got about 9 minutes to the top of the hour. So, if you would intro that clip real quick, or tell me what that is, because it was very interesting bits that I did get to see.
Well, I'm just trying to get this to people. All right, so this is from 2013, and it's an interview that a Fox affiliate, an Austin Fox affiliate did. You can YouTube it by Austin Police Union Thug, and it'll bring it up. Wayne Vincent threatens Peaceful Streets Project. And in this interview, you're going to hear how the police union and, well, the media, Fox News, portrayed the police accountability force known as the Peaceful Streets Project. So here we go.
Yeah. It's only a couple minutes.
Yeah, it's not a very long. Here it comes.
Been violence after a local activist group announced it's stepping up efforts to record police officers on the job. The Peaceful Streets Project started something called Wagner Watch, named after an APD officer who was involved in a controversial fatal shooting. And as Fox 7's Jenny Lee reports, the APA is asking for help from city leaders and lawmakers.
I don't feel safe. I don't feel safe rolling down my window.
YouTube has plenty of video showing Peaceful Streets Project founder Antonio Beeler. This one was taken March 3rd. Beeler says he was following a police car as part of his cop watch. The group goes out weekly and records officers doing their jobs. Police say the officer grew suspicious of being followed, pulled Beeler over, searched him and the car.
Leave me alone. I did not commit a crime.
Beeler says he is now keeping a closer eye on APD officer Nathan Wagner. Wagner was involved in the controversial shooting of Byron Carter Jr. in May of 2011. A grand jury cleared the officer of any criminal wrongdoing. A federal jury also recently agreed that Wagner didn't violate any laws. The decision, however, doesn't sit well with Beeler. He was out of town but did a phone interview with us.
We're just flexing more of our volunteers downtown so we can keep an eye on Wagner and just increase the scrutiny on this particular cop.
We fully are afraid that this thing is going to turn violent before it's over because Beeler keeps escalating the harassment. So our officers are out there with absolutely no relief from this kind of harassment, and it's not going to end well.
Austin Police Association President Wayne Vincent says the extra scrutiny is dangerous.
There's not a thing wrong with citizen officers, and if their intent is to try to catch officers in misconduct, it would seem to me you'd want to film quietly where the police didn't even know you were there. These folks that we're talking about get in our officers' faces, follow them around, constantly walk into the scene and start talking to the people that we're trying to deal with. So This isn't about police accountability. This is about provoking and harassing officers to try to get the officers to react.
Beeler says that's not true.
We don't get in the way.
Okay.
You know, we don't ever interact with them when they're engaged in a stop. The only time we interact with them is when they interact with us. When they go after us and they tell us that we have to move back some arbitrary distance, they interfere with what we're doing, you know, but we've never gotten between a cop and a suspect.
In New York, though, police officers are one step closer to getting a new law that would make it a crime to harass an officer. The Senate bill makes it illegal to harass, annoy, or threaten a police officer while on duty. They must make physical contact.
And I think that that's garbage. You know, the police are not the ones who need protection in society. It's the people.
I think it's a step in the right direction.
Vincent says he is asking for help for officers on the streets from the police chief, the district attorney's office, and the county attorney's office. The APA president says the help could be extra manpower for officers on the streets when Beeler and volunteers show up to record. He says there was a bill that would have made it illegal to announce the presence of undercover officers, something Beeler did.
He has stalked our officers working undercover assignments and told the public that these were police officers.
But when I hear this stuff from Wayne Vincent, this garbage about how cops are scared, and if we keep filming them, that we're going to put them in danger, well, they need to find new jobs, and we need to find cops who can actually handle people staying there with cameras.
I have not committed a crime.
Police should not be hired to be undercover. They shouldn't do these sting operations.
Well, that's what to that
serious problems.
The prohibition.
Because of this.
That's the only reason why these
The
officers get is
right.
prohibition.
Oh, I know.
And it makes you wonder too, why is this? How would Antonio get into the situation, or why any member, not only Antonio, but any member of the Peaceful Streets Project, get in a position where they could expose an undercover cop, unless these undercover cops are infiltrating their group?
Mm-hmm.
And we found out with a character, an officer by the name of Max Rocks, we found out last week was one of those officers, because we talked to Harold Ray last week of Peaceful Streets, one of the core members of Peaceful Streets, along with John Bush and Antonio Beeler. But he told us about how, this cop would post on their Facebook page and on their Twitter and talk about, and they would show up to the meetings. They'd go on the cop patrols with them, and they were constantly keeping tabs of him. And the reason why I wanted to bring up that interview is that's from 2013.
Right.
And they brought up some key points, because 2013 actually deals with the FOIA document that was recently released by Antonio Beeler. I always want to say Antonio Banderas for some reason. But anyways, where they which had to do with not only an interview like this, segments about this, but a PowerPoint presentation put together by Officer Barry, basically labeling the members of PSP and their founders as terroristic domestic extremists. And when your First Amendment and accountability can be construed to be what's the word I'm looking for? Extremism and violent. Because you heard this guy that's from the police union. He goes, it's going to end in violence.
That was a threat.
That was his threat. It will end in violence.
I know. There's Peaceful Streets, non-violent filming of police, and then there's, the violent force that gets, rained down on us living in a police state. It's just a pure police state.
Right.
We do need to cover that.
Right,
so.
So that you can find out more information. There's daily updates on the Peaceful Streets Facebook page, peacefulstreets.com, peacefulstreetsproject.com, and there's always information going on with them and everything. And we'll be constantly in contact with Harold and finding out as new things develop. Hopefully, we'll have him on in a couple weeks again and see what else is new going on in there. But here at because we're FBGlive, right? And we stemmed off of, we like to talk freedom and independence, right? And we're really associated with the Republic of Texas and those guys, right? And people call us secessionists because of that, right?
But we're not into
succession, right? But a group across
Texas
the pond.
Texas should be free.
A group across the pond, though, some friends across the pond, decided they wanted to succeed.
some of them wanted to secede.
Yeah. They
right?
decided that, hey, maybe after
and we
300
just
and
went
some
through
odd
that
years,
whole, thing
voting process
with the Scottish, right?
Right.
So if you're not familiar with England and Scotland, you have these guys called the English, and they invaded these guys called the Scottish, and well, they go to Braveheart. They did whatever, and
right.
they
Rape,
subjected
pillage, and plunder.
They're currently living in a similar situation to the United States of America,
right,
but maybe more excessive.
Right, it's a little more excessive because,
socialism,
but they're part of a union because they're part because they weren't talking about just separating from Britain's rule. Right, they're talking about separating from they wanted to leave what's known as the European Union,
right,
which was created so many years ago. Or the idea, anyways, was done at a Council on Foreign Relations meeting, and we'll get more into that any other time anybody wants to talk to us about that. But yeah, so that's what they were trying to do. They were trying to leave the Union, which is basically what Texas wants to do, or the Republic of Texas. We want to leave the Union.
But not through secession.
Right, not through asking your permission.
Right.
And not through violence. No, the Republic of Texas does not say that they're going to go up to the White House or to the capital of Texas and start, hanging and throwing people out. No, there is a system. There is things in
Texas again,
yeah.
And that's exactly what's going on. They just voted in the 19th Congress. The last Congress was the 18th, and this has been kind of like an ongoing thing. We ran 10 Congresses, and then they stopped for a long time. Everybody tried to kickstart the 10th, and now it's kind of moving right along. But Scotland made this popular vote, and they pushed it around 48 to 52% is some of the numbers. And the funny thing about those numbers?
Okay, well, Steve, we're running a little long. We're going to go into a commercial break.
Okay.
Get a news little break, and then we're going to come back and let's pick up at Scottish independence and what it means to Texas.
Sheer chance.
All right. This is FBGlive Friday, man.
You were to hear. Too fast, you must cut clean. You gotta take the elevator to the
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates, online at thelibertybeat.com. I'm Brian Hagan with your Liberty Beat for Friday, September 19, 2014. Gold opened today at $1,219, silver opened at $18.36, and Bitcoin is trading around $393. Today's Bitcoin price brought to you by ExpressCoin, the fastest and most reliable way to buy Bitcoin. Buy Bitcoin today at expresscoin.com. Support for Liberty Beat comes from the Michael Cargill for Austin City Council District 1 campaign. Vote Michael Cargill to get the cars moving. Learn more or sign up to volunteer at cargillfortexas.com. Political advertisement paid for by the Michael Cargill for Austin City Council District 1 campaign. In the news, the St. Louis Post-Dispatch is reporting that the Ferguson police officer behind the shooting death of 18-year-old Michael Brown testified in front of a grand jury on Wednesday. The Post-Dispatch stated that Ferguson police officer Darren Wilson spoke for 4 hours in front of the 7 men and 5 women on the grand jury. Wilson was reportedly cooperative with St. Louis County and federal investigators. The grand jury has been expected to make a decision on whether or not to charge Wilson by mid-October. Earlier this week, CNN reported that St. Louis County Judge Carolyn Whittington had extended the grand jury's deadline until January 7th. It started with a wellness check. It ended with a 4-hour standoff between police and a man who allegedly wanted to kill himself. Jose Silva posted live images of the SWAT team pointing guns at his car to the social media site Whisper. Silva recently broke up with his girlfriend. It was she who initially called law enforcement and indicated he may be armed and was making suicidal statements. Hours later, he was clocked driving his car over 100 miles per hour, and the standoff began. After spraying chemicals into his car to induce nausea, the police arrested him and took him into custody, where he'll spend 72 hours for psychiatric evaluation. No weapons were found. The Fire Chief Garrison of Reno, Nevada, is warning residents to be very aware and very vigilant in response to a recent rise in fires caused by so-called smoke. The new electric meters send energy use data electronically to electric companies, reducing the need for an in-person meter read. Of the 9 fires in the area that appear to be linked to smart meters, 1 resulted in death. Nevada Electric reports over 70 consumed meters. meaning the cover is melted or breached and soot can be present. Support for Liberty Beat comes from Cabo Bob's, Southwestern-style burritos, now with 2 locations in Austin, at 500 East Benway Boulevard and 2828 Rio Grande Boulevard. Find them online, CaboBobs.com. And support comes from Sovereign Living, a podcast, blog, and reality show about what it takes to live a voluntary and natural life. Check out the blog at SovereignLiving.com and watch episode 1 of the soon-to-be-released reality show at SovereignLiving.tv. This is the Liberty Beat for Friday, September 19th, 2014. Check out the website at thelibertybeat.com and like us on Facebook at facebook.com, The Liberty Beat. Activists with the Detroit Water Brigade are calling on Detroit citizens to join in the Occupy the Bankruptcy campaign to fight the controversial water shutoffs taking place in the city. The plan calls for a meeting Monday at 8:30 in the morning on the steps of a federal courthouse for a speak-out with families facing water shutoffs. The group is demanding that U.S. Judge Stephen Rhodes immediately stop the shutoff program and create an income-based water affordability plan. Former drone intelligence analyst Heather Linebaugh has begun speaking out in support of alternative treatment methods for post-traumatic stress disorder for veterans.
I use yoga a lot. I practice transcendental meditation, and I was actually part of a case study that's studying the effects of relaxation massage on people with PTSD, and actually studied my sleep patterns when I was able to sleep longer after I got massaged, and my mood patterns, like how my mood was while I was in the program getting massage regularly. I used medicinal marijuana for quite some time to sleep at night.
Linebaugh served in the United States Air Force from 2009 until March of 2012 as an imagery analyst and geospatial analyst for the drone program during the occupations of Iraq and Afghanistan. A new study suggests that veterans dealing with PTSD may benefit from breathing-based meditation treatment. Researchers at the University of Wisconsin-Madison published a study in the Journal of Traumatic Stress. Chartered psychologist Dr. Kate Sparks with the British Psychological Society said the study showed how breathing is radically affected by how a person is feeling, and that deeper, fuller breaths can help manage PTSD symptoms. Today's edition of the Liberty Beat brought to you by Brave New Books, your source for all things Bitcoin, now hosting a Bitcoin ATM, located in Austin, Texas at 1904 Guadalupe Street, or online, bravenewbookstore.com. This is the Liberty Beat for Friday, September 19th, 2014. I'm Brian Hagan, reporting.
Dun, da, 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 da,
enough fun and games. FBG Live.
If I stole somebody else's wave to fly up, and if I rose up with the avenue behind me, some kind of verb, some kind of moving thing, something unseen, some hand is motioning to rise, to rise, to rise.
You know, a lot of things that we've been taught, like violent, turtles are slow. That's all crazy. It doesn't have
all propaganda.
I saw a turtle run.
So welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, or if you're just tuning in, this is FBG Live Friday, and I am, of course, Frankie.
And I'm Steve.
And Jen's out of the room at the moment.
Yeah, and you're listening to Resistors Radio. You might be listening to YouTube, Spreaker, SoundCloud,
one
whatever.
of the above, right?
Who knows?
We might not be live at the moment when you're listening to us.
And we're going into the second hour, and our second hour is actually going to be more focused on Ross Ulbricht and I'm not too sure how that name is actually pronounced. I'll get it in the next little bit. You know, I've been following his story, and he is allegedly being portrayed as the person that founded a digital black market called Slik Road. And about a year ago, he was, busted and kidnapped, yeah, detained and put into a little concrete cell, kind of like the ones that.
Okay, wait, hold on, though, Steve.
Yeah.
Before you go over there and offer on the Slik Road and Ross and all that.
We have to come back to Scotland.
I know you're really excited, right? But we have to finish where we left off last hour because they depend on us.
sure.
So anyways, right, and look, to break us into that,
Freedom, 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 voice! Freedom, 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 voice!
Hey,
not to be
Texas.
found. Freedom not to be found
Really?
in Scotland. They ended up voting according to...
you pulled up some stats?
Yeah. Hold on.
Okay, today's stats are...
Okay, this is from the Telegraph of Telegraph UK. Right.
There would be changes.
These are their numbers. And pretty much everybody else over there across the pond agrees on these numbers. They're about the same, which would you expect from mainstream media. But anyways, it was a 45 to 55. 45 for yes and 55 for no. So obvious it was 10% difference. 10% is all it took. I personally believe each one of those individuals, that 45% that voted to want to be free, should have that birthright to just go ahead and exercise that.
So check this out, man. So 45. Okay. So there were 1,617,000 people say, I don't want to have anything to do with
the Union.
UK, England.
law.
Well, not anything to do with them. I don't want to play your game anymore.
I don't want to be under your regulation.
Right.
Basically.
And then 2,100,000 or 1,926
said, but I do.
But I do. So this 1,617,000, go screw yourself, man. You can't be free. We get to boss you around. And that's how it works in democracy, right?
That's how it works in this pseudo-republic that they call America. Yeah. The majority rule.
Right. And that's okay, right? If me and Frankie vote something in, you guys got to live by it because you're just a vote of one.
Right, you're just one versus two.
One versus two, because we're not going to take you on.
And that's why they what is it? It's two wolves and a sheep voting over what's for dinner type of shit. Yeah. And that's why. But then you go into the non-aggression principle where it talks about how that actually voting might be a sign of aggression.
Voting is aggression.
Because you got your people that don't vote. Right.
Well, let's look at this vote. Scotland is voting to leave its occupying territory. Now, the occupying territory, England, is saying, no, man, you've had it really good, and the world is going really good, and you need to stay with us to keep the entire globe going really good. Because if you leave us, you're going to hurt the European Union, you're going to hurt England, Mother England. No, dude. If you Scots are that brainwashed, well, actually, I got to give that to you.
Well, apparently,
they're way
enough.
more intelligent than we are here in the United States. Because, my God, that means...
I'll give you this. They may not... They're more involved. They might not be more...
Maybe on that issue, on the surface. But what we were hearing was this... yes, if it would have gone through, it would be just another one of these little bossy mechanisms, right?
Yeah.
So they'll just split England and Scotland, and they'll set up a democracy, and this democracy will take 1,600,000 people and tell them, screw you. The 2 million has said, this is what you're going to do. I don't know. Maybe that's why I just have severe issues with this thing called democracy and freedom, right? How can you have freedom?
Well, how can you vote in freedom? Like if you, because free, I guess it's, what is your definition of what freedom is, right? Because how can you ask permission, to just be? Because that's basically what you think about it. When you and I, maybe not everybody in the world thinks this, but when you and I talk about being free, we talk about the ability to just live.
Yeah.
To have our lives, right? And without fear or threat that somebody's going to kick in our door, murder us, rape, or come and steal what's ours.
Okay.
Whether that's through taxation or through actual physical sending men in SWAT uniforms into our home, right?
Right.
So how can you vote for that? How is that? Why is that even necessary that you have to vote for it? Shouldn't that just be natural instinct that Well, as long as I'm not over here at my neighbor's raping, pillaging, and plundering my neighbor, the rest of us should be cool, right?
You know what freedom looks like?
Anarchy.
Oh, okay, natural law.
I'm sorry, natural law, volunteerism.
Yeah, whatever you want to call it. Right. I don't really care. But it doesn't look like adding new laws to the books every year. You know, every year they'll sit there and they'll add new law to stop people from smoking bath salts. So a new law to keep Clorox out of kids' noses, and a new law to do this. Right? We're not restricting anything. We're just adding that. It's feeding this mechanism that just keeps getting so large. I mean, it's really outgrown its ability to, you know, I was trying to say allow us to peacefully exist, but the truth is we haven't been very peaceful for very long. You know, I think back, how many wars do you think we're in right now? If I were to tell you it's over 100.
Okay, let's put it this way. I've been alive 30 years, right? Or this year, in November, I'll be 30 years on this planet, right? In this existence, in this form. For 10 more years than that, my nation has been at war. Has been involved in some military, some kind of conflict, some police activity overseas, abroad, even within our own jurisdiction.
I have
so
never.
Longer than I've lived, I don't know what peace is.
Well, define war, right? Because we redefined it, and we do military actions and this and that, and they've given us semantics, and so we deal with, wow, so much. But we digress. Scotland. Well, what did we find out? We actually found out there was a narrow margin.
That collectivism is there. It's got a strong root.
Wow.
But there is enough of a fight to make it, because it was a close call up, because there's 32 what they call councils that make up the voting demographic, or the precincts, like how we call them here.
Okay.
You know, you have your precincts. Well, they're called councils across the pond, right?
Yeah. They could change that if they were free.
Right. They can call it humongabas.
Yeah, or toilet paper.
So anyways, right, they it took into the double digits when it took until about, I don't want to say, because I stayed up a little bit and was watching it Ustreamed, because I love Ustream, man. They just throw whatever's up there, right? It's kind of like C-SPAN, but with variety, right? You can get anything. So anyways, I'm watching it happen, and they're counting their votes. They're announcing the turnouts for each council, and it took about until the 12th or the 13th where it became decided that the big one of the largest areas, you know, the largest councils voted no against independence.
And that squashed everybody else.
And that pretty much killed it, because the Yes Party, the Yes movement would have to win.
That's their
on
New
out.
Hampshire.
Yeah,
right.
Basically.
You know, it's the way that New Hampshire
Free Scotland!
goes. Yeah, but it's not the LRN.FM folks that say the world, or maybe it is. They're actually doing a lot of good works. But the Scotland folks, I don't know.
You don't know?
I was just kind of hoping for a, freer world.
Right. So, back to Republic, then this is what's great. This is why I loved this whole Scottish indie referendum and all this vote for independence and liberty, right? And you could see it on RT, you could see it on LRN, you could see it on GCN, and even kind of Alex Jones. Well, actually, you know what? I can't even say that, because I don't listen to Alex anymore, because I don't like being baptized.
Okay.
But anyways.
Well, I've been hearing him because I've been listening to the shortwave, and I've heard a lot of interest.
I mean, he still gives out a lot of great stuff, but he's kind of a pimp. But anyways.
Okay, yeah.
Right?
There's better sources.
But they've touched on it, and it's all like, well, if Scotland actually votes to be free and actually votes to leave a collective, because that's at the
they
root.
They are part of the board.
Right, at the root, they were part of the Union, the European Union, right? They were leaving a union. So at its roots, and you get rid of geographical location, and you just look at it at its roots, if they pulled this shit off, if Scotland had been able to braveheart it, Mel Gibson this, right? Or actually a peaceful version of it, voted, all of a sudden, the idea of Free Keene, the Free State Project is springboarded. All of a sudden, the Republic of Texas movement is a real live, viable option.
Well, that's why we saw a movement from the Texas Nationals last week.
Did
yeah, they were sitting there talking to everybody they could talk to. Daniel Miller was sitting there going, yeah, Texas is next. Now, the difference between Daniel Miller's Texas Nationals and the Republic of Texas is the Republic of Texas actually wants to change the way we do business. The Texas Nationals wants to continue on, this democratic way of managing stuff, kind of like take all the books and, continue down the same path and just call ourselves Texas. Secede, ask the United States for permission to go ahead and leave them. Right?
Yeah, I call it the libertarian model because that's kind of what it is. It's because the libertarian model is to run for office and
Nationals?
vote. Oh well, Oh really? Right.
Okay.
Because the libertarian model is to win the majority of seats, get in a voting where you're the large voting demographic, right? And then vote your way to freedom, right? And the volunteerist or anarchist platform of it, right, or the natural law platform of it is
knock it off.
Is just huh? I don't understand your language. I'm free, or some people call it the man on the land, but RT or the Republic of Texas, little R, big T, right?
Right.
Their model is, well, hey, you committed a crime. We are taking you to court. Right? Am I right?
No, you're totally there. But you can find more about the Republic of Texas at texasrepublic.info. They have meetings regularly. Also with the Texas National. Maybe you're more on the socialist mind frame, right? Want to boss people around a little bit more and continue what we're doing here in the United States, TextNet.org, Daniel Miller might be a good route. It's even tax deductible if you give him donations.
I don't know if they're a 501c3, but
they are.
In all fairness, they are?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, cool. But I do like the fact that they have a baseball team, a little league baseball team. Like they give money back to the community.
Mm-hmm.
I do like the fact that they are trying to do more to be out in the face. I wish the Republic of Texas would do more shit like that.
So
because the Republic's fight, the Republic of Texas fight, and their argument is strongest. Right. Go.
Right. So the Texas Nationals has some kind of a monetary income that comes from all of its members, and they donate lots of money so they can have a softball team. And then you got the Republic of Texas that donate their time and their money. So, we can continue past the 10th Congress of, Texas, because it took a lot, right? It took a lot of money and a lot of time and a lot of effort by a lot of folks to reconvene on the 11th Congress and then push it on forward. Now we're cruising into the 19th Congress. And I know we're supposed to be getting on, and we will. But check it out, texasrepublic.info. Freedom and liberty is, it's a target for your lifetime. Will you ever achieve it or get to it? I'm not sure. It seems that the governments keep getting bigger. I know here in the city of Fredericksburg, we've, dealt with that. And, we're adding 60 head count according to the new budget. Isn't that what you said?
Right, yeah. They have 163 current full-time employees, and they want to add 60 more to that because they believe that the biggest problem is that they have too many workers or too much work and not enough workers. Some shit like that. Or because they said that their biggest overhead or their biggest expenditure is in salaries.
Mm-hmm.
You know, paying people for these jobs.
So they're going to hire 60
So they're
more.
going to hire 60 more so they can pay more people.
Yeah, I don't know. Tell you what, we can leave some other kind of logic thread and look at that budget and go, excuse
right. Well,
me.
I'm still waiting to hear a response from somebody in the city government that would like to sit down and talk to me about the budget because I sent an email and it said that it was sent, but it might not have been. So if any of this local government are listening to, please contact us at FBGlive@gmail.com and let us know that you didn't receive that email, and because I'd like to sit down, put it in care of Frankie or whatever, or just in the subject put budget combo. And because I'd like to talk about this budget and make sure we have all the facts right and everything like that.
You know what's strange is that we were looking over the website and trying to figure out what's been going on. And, you know, we run WordPress as our website. You know, a lot of you think of WordPress as a blog. But, you know, in content management system, it's actually a very robust system. So I checked it out today, and I see this little graph, and I'm like going, what the heck's going on with that? And I clicked on it, and Frankie and I went over to the stats, and we're like, wow, what day was that? And it was a Tuesday, right? And we're like, we had
No, it was a Thursday.
It was a Thursday.
It was a Thursday.
And what were we doing on that Thursday?
Nothing. We don't do nothing.
Huh.
We don't do anything.
It seems to have exploded.
But
and it's
well, that
right
was the same week. That was
your,
the same week I went to city council.
Yeah.
And I had brought up the budget, and I brought up, you know, is this really a good idea to be, you know, spending more money on putting up signs and dictating how a building should look along the entrance or what they call gateway corridors to the city.
Well, it'll be interesting to follow that and see what kind of numbers that we get once we start getting back into politics.
All right, and then let everybody know, if you want to see a hardcore printout of this, by the House Charter of the incorporated city of Fredericksburg, the city government has to make available to the citizens upon request a copy of the budget. So all you have to do is go to, if you're in Fredericksburg, Texas, all you have to do, actually I think you might be able to get a PDF on FBGtexas.org.
Right.
You might be able to get a PDF of it. But if you go up to the city hall,
get a copy for yourself.
You can get a copy yourself handed to you, and with no cost to you. It's because, like I said, it's by the charter. It's by the own rules of our city, of our county. They have to follow it.
They waste money on way more avenues than getting you a budget in your hand. If you're saying that you don't want to see the budget, you don't want to go down there because it'll cost money. Once you have this thing in your hand and you can pare through it, you go, well, hey, I live here on the planet Earth too, and what are you doing? The PDF is just blows it out of the water, right? You know, you never read the damn thing.
You know, because it's hard in a PDF. You know, it's hard to do that. But like I said, they put it in a binder form up at the city hall, and you can get it. You just go ask the little lady to meet at the first desk. Once you go up that staircase, you just go up there, and that first lady that you meet, I forget her name. And all you have to say is, ma'am, may I have a copy of the budget? And she'll hand it to you, no problem.
How many pages was that thing?
It's pretty fat.
Yeah.
It's like 100 plus.
100 plus.
Yeah, because it includes the graphs where it's a breakdown of how much da-da-da. And the first, I think, 3 to 5 pages is from the city manager, Kent Myers, explaining how he feels confident in this and giving an overall breakdown of the budget, kind of his synopsis, if you will.
His feelings?
Yeah.
His opinion?
Yeah.
Yeah. how you should read it.
Well, because that's what we hired him for. Remember?
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't hire him because remember, I don't live in the city. You don't live in the city. Right. But and you know what? That doesn't even matter.
Into us.
Right. Well, check this out. That didn't even matter whether we lived in it because you didn't get to vote for your city manager to begin with.
Right.
It's a appointed position.
Right. That bosses around other appointed positions.
Right.
That are only responsible to an appointed position.
Yeah.
And you'll lose that soon as Alamo area Council of Governors.
We're going to take a quick break, ladies and gentlemen.
FBGlive.
Enjoy this music from a God Unknown. You can catch him tonight at Cultures.
if I stole somebody else's wave to fly up? And if I rose up with the I know behind me, some kind of verb, some kind of moving thing, something unseen, some hand is motioning to rise, to rise, to rise.
I don't know what he says the whole song.
Something like who's fat, who.
I'm still trying to remember who the man is.
Oh, I'm the man.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Straight?
Damn it.
You're listening to FBG Live
Friday!
And I'm Steve O'Brien.
Yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed that. That was Weather the Storm by A God Unknown, a local prog metal band here in Fredericksburg, Texas. If you did enjoy it, you can actually go right now, if you're listening to us right now live. If you're not, if you're listening by way of SoundCloud, YouTube, or Spreaker, or any other of the archives. Right. But anyways, they're live right now at, they'll be live at 9 o'clock at Culture's Bar and Grill on Main Street. I forget the address. Who cares?
Man, we
should find it. It's Main Street.
Guys and then run over there, right?
No way. We are famous. We have to be here.
You're famous?
What?
That's great.
I thought you knew this.
Oh, I do. Sort of.
Actually, well, you helped make me famous, right?
Well, how's
because
that?
all of a sudden, this guy gives me a roll of stickers, right? And he's all, hey, I heard you like freedom, so here's this guy, Ron Paul.
Oh, God. Yeah. Here, go put these on.
You're listening to Alex Jones? Yeah, man, he talks about some crazy stuff. Yeah, here's these roll of stickers. I don't have a use for them. Maybe you can use them. Next thing you know,
you're putting stickers everywhere.
We have a series called Frankie Goes to Jail.
But you learned something, right? You learned you learned that public property really isn't public, it's private because there is no public. Right? That was a great gift.
Well, yeah, it was a great learning experience, right?
I don't know.
Okay, so RT and had a big chance to become a little bit more hyped because of the whole...
Hey, I don't know that I told you this about, the Republic of Texas at texasrepublic.info. But there, I asked those guys, and I said, so what was the results from the September vote? Was there anything weird that happened? And I go, the person that I asked said, actually...
You don't want to say his name?
No.
You're out of respect?
No, because I don't want to.
It's not necessary?
It's not necessary.
All right, anyway, go on.
There's a lot of local action. A lot of people, running for local offices, not playing around with the politics of the actual government, right? The House of Representatives or the Senate. They say, no, Chief Justice, right, of the county, and sheriffs. There's a lot of Chief Justice and sheriffs that have come online. And it's kind of
That's good,
yeah,
because I remember in last year, in December, about the time when I got introduced to the whole, when John Ike became president of the Republic, at his inauguration, that was the big thing that they kept on talking about, is that there's not enough Chief Justices and sheriffs for these areas.
Now, how did he explain to you what the role of the Chief Justice was?
The role of the Chief Justice was to gather complaints or discrepancies that the U.S. government had committed against the sovereign person of Texas. Right.
Jen's waving at her microphone. Oh, she's having...
I have hearing problems.
You have hearing problems? You can't hear?
My God, girl, I have hearing problems.
I think that's better.
Is that better?
Yeah.
That's because we have so many connectors going into reducer into this. Yeah, it's quite interesting. But anyways, so yeah, that's what they were talking about. It could be solved with Bitcoin. So if you want to help us out, go to FBGlive.com and hit up that QR code and send us some bits.
We're thinking about other forms of monetary, donation.
Right.
But at this time...
so check this out. If you want to, send a check to Frankie Nieto at 506 Deer Hollow, Fredericksburg, Texas. You can send me a check, and I promise you I will Ustream the whole time where I take that check to cash it to us buying our mixer or whatever you give us money for. All right? Until
Dude, hold on. Stop.
Okay.
If you wanted to pay with FRNs via check or cash, you could send it to what address? Repeat it for me once slowly.
506.
Okay.
Deer, as in the animal, not deer as in John.
Right.
Well, you have to make that clear, man. People are crazy. Okay, deer as in the animal, Deer Hollow. Okay, LLOW. So again, 506 Deer Hollow, Fredericksburg, Texas.
Fredericksburg.
Yeah, there is an E. It's FREDERICKSBURG. Texas, 78624. Okay? And you go ahead and you send me a check, and I promise you, I'll fucking Ustream the whole event from me getting it.
Dude, I so hate to make this plea every time we broadcast.
It's not
right?
It's not a plea. It's not a plea.
It
no.
is. Well,
because you know what? Like I tell
we'll
people,
deal with it other ways.
Look, I'll tell you like this. Because yeah, exactly. We will deal with it other ways. You and I will sacrifice money out of our checks, out of our fucking living to make this happen.
Right.
We okay.
You can help.
But yeah, if you want to help, you can. If you don't, whatever. It's like when I post stuff on our Facebook page and our Instagram. Tune in or not. I don't care.
Right.
Because in all honesty, this is I'm enjoying what I do. I love being able to come over here to Studio 8, hang out, and have conversation with my friends.
I think that's the most important part about broadcasting. If you're not enjoying yourself, you shouldn't be broadcasting. And I've gone through all sorts of phases, including now, right? I don't know when's the last time that I haven't talked a couple times a week. Well, I guess I missed a few with those technical glitches, but I just feel burdened. Tonight is the first night that I've had you running the board, and we're going crazy, right? We're supposed to be talking about,
we're supposed to be talking about Ross Ulbricht.
This and
right?
that, and that's a really incredible thing.
So,
and then
let's
we're
get
running
into that.
out of time because we're supposed to be.
What does our show clock say?
Well, our show clock says that we have 1 hour, 16 minutes to go through everything we wanted to cover.
Okay, well, we can do this pretty fast, right? We might have overloaded.
Free Ross. We don't know he's guilty. We don't know anything.
Okay, so those that don't know, right, Steve? Because you've been the leader. You've been the leader on the research on the because I admitted I brought it up to you. Hey, what do you?
Wow.
And you went down that trail.
Let me just frame this house.
So frame it
quick.
for us.
Okay. So all of a sudden, there was a place out on the internet, but it's a place that is farther than you can see on the internet unless you're in the group of the aware people. And they use terms like deep web, dark web, the cipher nets, and whatever, right? And actually, they're really referring to a part of the internet referred to as Tor, T-O-R. The acronym is for the Union Router. And the 300 is your computer talks to a bunch of computers and bounces all over the place before it comes out. So once you go into Tor, we can hit YouTube, and all they'll know is, well, it came from a Tor router. They don't get anything for, Yahoo, right? They're kind of a little bit bummed out, right?
Did you know that, speaking of Yahoo, since you brought them up, Yahoo, I think you're about to let into it, but Yahoo was one of the last guys as far as internet and email providers that were standing against the NSA. And the NSA threatened them with these heavy fines and a whole bunch of regulations. Like you go to Yahoo News, of course, but if you go to RT and other Business Insider and things like that, you can find out about these things. I
have lots of issues with the Yahoo service. their commercializing of their search engine and, this and that, and I'll deal with that on Monday nights on Digital Resistor.
On the same channel.
About what you were talking about?
Yeah.
What are you rolling there, girl?
Were you going to talk about Slik Road?
Yeah, we're talking about Freedom Ross. So anyways, he gets in trouble, right, ultimately, for what? Money laundering?
And murder.
And murder, or conspiracy to commit murder.
Right.
And then they claimed all this other kind of nonsense. They were saying that Slik Road was a haven for child pornography, human trafficking.
As far as I know, the lore goes, there's a place called Slik Road out in the cipher net, right? The deep net, the dark net, whatever. And you could go there, and it's different than your web browser, because in your web browser you just type in yahoo.com, and since we're on Yahoo, and you go to Yahoo, and that's on the internet. Now, to get into the deep net, the dark net, you have to install an application. Now, the majority application is a program called Tor, and Tor is the Onion router, and it was really mainly funded by the DoD. So the Department of Defense, they said, we need a...
Right, it was even called the Tor Project, right?
Right. And so, they funded a lot of that stuff, and now the NSA goes, our number one threat in cyberspace is what the DoD created. And so they're like, well, how do we deal with Tor? So when everybody wants to know where you're going in cyberspace, and that's a domestic spying type rant, and we're not going there. We're going to talk about Ross. What he's being accused of is the mastermind of the first successful public black market. Right? Their proof consists of 4.5 terabytes of digital information, and he's thrown into a jail cell. He has no access to really
any of the so-called evidence.
Yeah. You're going to have to go back to the earlier Digital Resistor episode
to find more into it. We
really
talked about it about it on Monday night. This last Monday night of Digital Resistor, and also for further and to keep up, because there's live updates, or not live updates, but there's updates happening on freeross.org.
Yeah.
If you go to freeross.org, you can find a blog written by his mom, talking about that, and you can see the interview of his sister, talking about how her brother's a good guy and da-da-da-da-da.
Right. And so Ross was just this dude, right? He was living in San Francisco at the time, and then all of a sudden all sorts of NSA came in and kicked his ASS and then hauled him off to JAIL, right? Stuck him in an HOLE and didn't give him anything, right? His mom's all going off on all this crazy stuff. She's going, they're not feeding my son. And I'm like, yeah, you're a mom. And that's true. They're not going to feed you much in jail. But after he got into jail, right, he has a right to actually, how does the Constitution, how does our laws put it, to address your accuser?
You have the right to face your accuser.
Right.
You have the right to...
Who's his accuser?
Apparently, how many terabytes?
4.5 terabytes.
Yeah. Digital information.
You can see your accuser. It's on a bunch of DVDs.
We got it on a floppy.
Yeah, it's all encrypted and encoded, and you got to use your eyes, dude. Dude, they're getting in the shaft.
By the way, you're only allowed an hour and a half access to a computer terminal.
Yeah, it's kind of like a terminal. But yeah,
while you're under custody.
Is that hour and a half true? I'm not too sure.
I don't know. I made that part up because I know you're only allowed so much time, because I've been to prison, because hence the series Frankie Goes to Jail, right? So,
but he's not a criminal yet in the system,
No,
allegedly.
You're right. He's being held
he's
against
being
his will.
treated like a criminal.
Right. He's being held against his will because he can't afford bond or bail. Right.
And
so he's sitting there waiting for his chance to fight for his freedom. Meanwhile, the mainstream media, or not the corporate media, the prostitutes, as Gerald Celente likes to call them, are painting him as this criminal and this rogue and this harborer, a friend of pedophiles, even, and human traffickers, because that supposedly was happening on the website.
That was really disturbing, actually. In part of my adventures into the cipher nets, the dark nets, and stuff like that, I needed to go deeper. And so as I was going into some of the things that have popped up after, because you can't actually reference the site that existed called Slik Road that, Ross Ulbricht allegedly owned or operated or managed. Funny thing is, there's a new one, right? 2.0. Yeah, it's not under the same management. Yeah, right, whatever. Whose management was it under before? I know they said Ross Ulbricht was the one that was managing it, but we don't know that. There's 4.5 gigs of data that need to be sifted through, and he's not going to be the one that's going to do it. There's a lot of money going in, and you can actually look at a lot of this information on freeross.org. There's a donate thing. The amount of money that he has to spend for this when he doesn't have any money is incredible. Right, and they're painting this guy as the super cyber
villain.
Yeah,
Kingpin.
Killed 5 people.
Right.
Yeah.
Where's Ben Affleck?
We're in charge with none because we don't have anything, right? But you did.
Right.
I don't know what he did. War on drugs.
I don't know what he did. War on
drugs.
As the guys at LRN like to say, he made the if he is guilty of whatever they say he is, he made the black market a safer place, because now you could develop a relationship between this guy that you were buying opium from or weed from and get it, right? Versus having to drive down a seedy looking neighborhood or a seedy part of the community or state or whatever and risk the chance of being robbed, murdered, raped, and pillaged and plundered.
Yeah, and also, they made money for the postal system. Bitcoin
thrived because of this.
It probably wouldn't have existed
if it wasn't for the Silk Road. And it's crazy because they charged him originally. They were charging him with money laundering, right? And his attorney made the argument that, well, the U.S. Congress, their financial committee, they had Bitcoin is not money, it's not currency. So how can I be guilty of money laundering if I'm dealing in things that is not money?
Well, things like Bitcoin is things,
right?
Series of digits. Really not a real thing. If you want to pay me $400, $600, how much
for a Bitcoin?
Yeah,
exactly. If you want to pay me $450 for a Bitcoin, that's great, because for some reason you believe that these blocks of numbers is worth $450 US.
And I know where to go on the net to change them into gold, silver.
Exactly. Amagi metals.
Yeah, Amagi metals.
That's a great place to go to.
So it's kind of weird, right? Money is changing and time is changing. There's this guy named Ross Ulbricht, and he was charged with, being a murderer, the worst of the worst, and they're not even going to be able to charge him because they don't know anything about anybody.
There's no real victim. There's tangible crime committed. There's no real tangible crime committed, right? And the DOJ is just making this shit up as they go, right? It's an attack on the internet. It's an attack on business owner, because Ross Ulbricht said it himself. He goes, "Well, man, I just created a website. It's not my fault that this dude is, arranged to go pick up a whore. That's not my fault." Because would you hold HEB responsible if you decided to go buy lighter fluid and then set yourself on fire? Is HEB still at fault?
Yeah, I know where you're going with that.
Oh, but yeah.
No. It's the same
you just
thing.
scared me there, Steve.
Well,
I got a
it's
little
the same thing that you
right
always
there.
talk about with the bath salts. One kid, sells the bath salts to one kid, and the other kid and the kid smoked the bath salts here in Fredericksburg. They beat each other up till they're senseless. One kills the other, and the guy that goes to jail is the guy that sells the bath salts to the kid.
Right. And that's some bullshit.
Yeah.
What happened to the free market?
Well.
Hold on.
What about violence for violence is? I mean, and the fact that those two kids were violent before they had bath salts in their system.
Right.
That was the, personality trait of the individual. Now new laws are coming to Fredericksburg.
New trials, new housing facilities.
Right. Don't sell bath salts.
Money.
Yeah, whatever.
And it is weird, man. It's a lack of personal responsibility. Well, we're gonna come up on the top of the hour. We're gonna take another break. Entering hour 3, we're gonna talk a little vaccines. Do you stab your kids with needles? I wouldn't. I don't know. That's just me, though. By the way, during that break, it's a music break. Well, I'll talk to you.
This is for the people having hard times in the ghetto, in the woods, and the people up to no good, and the people doing time for the crime. I'm trying to put food on the table now. If you didn't know me, yeah, I'm Bro P. I'm just a normal guy in the FBG. Really the only real nigga in the FBG. Why these people hating on me? Maybe because I have the hip-hop culture. Maybe because Bro P is a hot culture. But I be for relax. If you want this beat in this lyrics, you gon' be taxed. I cut my enemies down like an act. Number come through like facts. I relax and recline somewhere on the hills with a girl named Jill giving me head. So that makes me jack. And if you get back, you can hit the road, Jack. I'm relaxed. Great. What can I say? I work hard for what I earned today. I'm just a player living good. Don't get it misunderstood. Give me a girl that would, yeah. She really wanna call it a law. I'm a player, you know my numbers in her call log. You know I'm smoking that good. You can see my smile. Every day I ball. And you know me. And once again I gotta tell you it's Bro P. I thank John Hill for putting that bass on this track. Cause I'm running down these niggas back. I relax, no lack. A Lincoln up in the driveway. I did everything my way. No usher, but you can be excused. Only a few people can dare fuck with me. I'm a normal G. Listen how I rip it for the FBG. How you know how I do me? If you got some smoke, now smoke everything you got. Because you still can't smoke how much I got zip after zip and bag after bag. Oh, this nigga hating on me, watch Bro P laugh. Them niggas smoking out their class, and they them dope boys. And you know me, I got that hope, boy. I like that nigga that will probably disavow you. Put you to the line and watch you shoot, miss all the shots, and do what I do. Player Chronicles. Let people guide you. Hey, keep it playing. Money make the world go round. Money make the world go round. Money haters make the world go down.
FBG Live. It's like confusion, but straightforward.
If I stole somebody else's wave to fly up, if I rose up with the avenue behind me, some kind of verb, some kind of moving thing, something unseen, some hand motioning, to rise, to rise, to rise.
Life is moving thing.
Too fast that you must cut clean. You gotta take the elevator to the mezzanine shop.
What's up with the mezzanine?
Who has mezzanine?
I have a porch. It's like 3 feet by 3 feet. Used to be like 18 inches by 18 inches.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is FBGlive Friday. I'm Frankie.
I'm Steve.
I'm Jen.
Hey.
Can we hear you, Jen?
We have to turn.
We might have to turn you back up.
Can you hear me?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, there we go.
There you
How
go.
you doing?
The return of Jen. You know, that was the second episode that George Lucas put out.
The Return of Jen?
Right. It wasn't.
I thought it was the third one. No, I thought it was the sixth one, actually.
God, I'm confused, Frankie.
I know, because you're one of those people that take it from. You're one of those people that take it from that. It's 4, 5, and 6, which is A New Hope to The Empire Strikes Back.
So are not
to Return
going
of
Star
Jedi.
Wars.
No,
on
we
this
did
episode.
it. You done? I'm
No,
already bonered that
no,
way. We're already getting out that way. Dude.
Our Star Wars special will be coming up in 3 weeks, but not tonight.
Hey, by the way, if you come as Princess Leia to the FBGlive Halloween costume party that we're going to be having on the, I was about to
Halloween.
say, on Halloween. Well, I was about to say December
What day
31st.
is that?
So, but if you come, you got my vote, and if you have my vote, you win, because I'm Frankie.
That's not true.
What? That's what the F
my.
in FBG Live stands for, is Frankie.
Oh my God, I never knew that. That's great. Anyways, back to sorts. What was that music that we were just playing? Was that Ropey?
That was from Ropey, Texas Hill Country artist. He is not a native of the Hill Country. He was actually born in New York and lived around, did that Houston and all that stuff, right? And eventually made his way here to Fredericksburg. Fell in love with the people, the culture, and the atmosphere. He wanted to bring hip hop to here because he found that there was a large hip hop base in Fredericksburg, but nobody was paying attention to him.
I don't pay attention to anything.
And what's cool about him, though, he shares roots with A God Unknown, which is another local band that we support here at FBGlive. Well, he helped produce some of their first stuff. He's worked with Gumby, which is the lead keyboard producer singer of A God Unknown.
I don't know much about Gumby except he exists.
Well, he was your neighbor.
Right, he existed.
I thought you hung out.
We did, and he existed. You know, he went to work, he did his thing.
It makes it sound so bad. He was actually a nice guy.
He was a really nice
he
guy.
didn't just exist.
Like, he was on, I never even saw that asshole.
No, I mean, I chill with him, right? That's fine. We're not deep. We didn't talk about existential shit, right? What's the meaning of life, Mr. Gumby?
Mr. Gumby?
Right? I just love the fact that he wanted to be referred to as Gumby. I said, well, I don't care what his real name is. What's your name? Like, Gumby. Great. Let's do it. No, I like that. I like all local artists, especially if they're playing real music, their music, not anything that was created by anybody else and copyrighted and put out there and whatever. So what was our focus tonight? On the third hour, we were going to be talking about those little signs around Fredericksburg. We see them at Walgreens, we see them at Walmart. You know, the supermarket here is called HEB, and they have, like, shots here, flu shot.
Flu shot. Get your shots. Have you been vaccinated?
Here.
Well, yeah, and then, what is it? We're a month into the school year now, right? And everyone's convinced that it's a law, air quotes emphasize there.
It kind of is,
it's a law that you have to be vaccinated to send your children to the state-funded school.
Well, the trippy thing is kind of like I sit there and throw out all these absolutes where, you know, Jen has been looking through what we know versus what we feel, right? You know, there's a lot of feelings in vaccines, right? You know, vaccines damaged my child. Vaccines did this. Vaccine saved my kid's life, all his life. But he was sick a bunch of times. What do we know about vaccines? Do we know anything? No.
Well, I can only give a lot of opinion, right? I really don't know anything about vaccines other than I wouldn't take one. As long as I've been able to make the decision for myself, I would not take one because the common one is the flu, right? Everyone tells you, well, you take the flu, and then it's like it's always been common knowledge that the flu shot or common acceptance, I don't know if it's necessarily knowledge, but common acceptance that the flu shot is nothing more, the flu vaccine is nothing more than the flu itself, right? So, well, if you're gonna inject me to give me the flu, well, how about I just take my chances and just catch the flu? If I catch the flu, and if I don't catch the flu, I don't catch the flu. Why go through the process of stabbing myself, right?
Right. You know.
You know, there is a misconception about people that think they're getting the flu, but actually it's either a respiratory infection or a stomach flu or a bacterial infection. And so a lot of people don't go to the hospital or to see their doctor either because their insurance can't just afford to go.
Well, there's a lot of bugs, right?
There are a lot of bugs. And the flu vaccine doesn't cure all the bugs.
So what are we buying in those little vials?
Well, each year there's a different strain that these scientists, right, pick and choose to put in the vaccine to send to you, and it only protects you from certain strains of the flu.
So it's kind of like bookies, right? They use the highest probabilities for the certain strains. Let's talk about flu shots, right? Since we talk a lot about flu shots, I mean, they're on all those things. That's one of the common vaccines.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of those common ones, is the vaccine. Now, also another common one is, what is it, Gardasil? The one
What's a Gardasil?
That's for
HPV. Right, and they encourage women and girls to take it, and it's actually
so they don't get the
I heard about that one. That's the one that they also want guys to take.
Right.
Yes.
Even though it doesn't have anything to do with
Well,
guys.
the thing is,
it has no makeup to it. Right?
Men can be carriers, but not show symptoms.
Again, we're talking allegedly, right?
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Well, they may be, or some stuff like that. What were you saying about the maybe type situation? Anyways, I'm leaving.
You lost me.
I'm leaving flu shots.
Hey, cancer does not occur in plant foods, by the way.
We have it from a good source.
And laundromat billboard.
Yeah.
I don't know. Come on, Jen. Give us some vaccine knowledge. Drop some on.
Oh, well, you said you were done talking.
He's always done talking.
Well, what do you want to know? That there's 9 types?
What's a flu vaccine?
Okay, so
why do I want it?
Or how about basically, is it worth the risk? From what you see?
No.
Is
because even if you get the flu vaccine, you can still get the flu, and you can still be able to transmit it to others. Now, I read something interesting today, that it's less likely for an unvaccinated person to be infected by the vaccine viruses.
Okay.
Wait, yeah, and then didn't you say something too, that it only lasts, like a couple months?
Oh, yeah. So you see all the signs up now, right? Well, this was like a month ago when they put the signs out, get your flu shots at Walmart or
so they put them out
Walgreens,
again?
CVS. No. So you see the signs last month. Well, you get your flu shots, and they only last for 2 months. That's based upon a healthy individual.
Do they tell these people?
No. I had to look on the
in
CDC
2 months?
website. And so the flu vaccine, all 9 types last about 2 months.
2 months.
So most people get the flu in December, January. So if you get them now, you're still going to get the flu December, January. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess it's not really to keep you safe, but to sell you something.
Yeah, it is, because as soon as the manufacturers are able to ship them out, and then they put the signs up, people are like, well, I got sick last year, so I better go get my flu shot as soon as I can. That's how they get their money quicker.
So did I get you right when you said that the vaccines are a gift that keeps on giving? That you can actually...
You mean the death that it keeps on killing?
Well, no, not all flus. Well, not all flus kill, right?
I'm talking about the vaccines.
Well, the vaccines themselves give you the flu, right? You know?
Yes, they do.
And then you can give it to somebody else, so you can pay $30 or have it covered by your insurance.
It's more likely for you to transmit the virus if you get like children 6 months to 8 years can get the flu mist, the stuff you shoot up your nose, right?
Excuse me, tell me about
flu mist.
What is the flu mist?
It's the vaccine that they shoot up your nose.
Whose
like a
nose?
nasal spray.
Kid nose?
Yes.
Babies?
If you're 6 months to 8 years.
They do that to kids, babies, 6 months, they give them vaccines?
Yes,
in
up
their
nose. Uh-huh. And
sick.
Those are the ones that have the live viruses in. And so they are able to spread it to other people.
Are babies like little time bombs right after they're being injected?
Well,
they only live for 2 weeks.
I will personally advise you, based on the CDC website, that if you are over 65 years old, don't come into any contact with children under 8 years old, because they will give you the flu if they've had that vaccine.
65 or older, you really need to stay away from kids. According to the CDC.
I recommend you stay away from kids all the time.
You know, that's really funny, from the dude that was dangling a kid from his hand last week. I was looking through, okay, I don't mean to be distracting all you guys from an important subject, but really you should be going to the Instagram and take a look at all the pictures that we got up there last week. Frankie dangled a kid. I was kind of...
I dangle my kids. They think it's hilarious.
It's a lot better than injecting them with a live virus through their nose.
Oh, yes.
I mean, that's some sick stuff, right? And so all these people go ahead and, what do they, obey their doctor's orders, right? The doctor says we need to do that.
People are conditioned to trust their doctors, that they have all their medical history, so Yes, conditioned.
Okay.
So they trust their doctors, but whenever you go into the clinic and see your doctor, do you ask them, what kind are you giving me? Because you know there's 9 types, right? I bet you didn't know that.
I have.
And so do these doctors tell you which one you're getting, which one's better for you? Do you even ask? Do you even care? Do you just trust your doctor enough to just get shot in the arm and then you leave? Or do you go to Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Rite Aid, and those pharmacists give you these shots? They're not your doctor. They don't know your medical history. They're just they just take a class to be able to administer medication to you.
I don't know. Back in...
you know, a lot of people are dumb.
Dude, I was so dumb. I asked them what vaccines I needed to go to the Dominican Republic. What do they recommend, I said. And they said, what? I go, yeah, I'm a traveler, and I'm going to the Dominican Republic. What kind of shots do I need? And they said, well, whatever you want, man. Fucking, I don't know. We don't have a list. Now, I really do know that they have a list that, you know, once you enter school, they require, wow. What is the pattern? Do you know the pattern, Jen?
The pattern for what?
The flu shots. When you're young, you come out of the womb.
Well, it's recommended, since you're 6 months old, you're supposed to get one every year.
What's the pattern?
That's the pattern.
For life.
You're supposed
6
to.
months?
Yeah.
Forever.
Yeah, you know what sucks? I read something recently that if you're over 65 and you take the flu shot for 3 to 7 years in a row, that you can get Alzheimer's. And Alzheimer's rates are going up anyways in the past 10 years, and that's probably why.
They talk a lot about aluminum with Alzheimer's, and
Well, there's not aluminum in flu vaccines.
Okay.
But yeah.
But other vaccines.
Oh yeah.
Trimerisol.
Thimerosal.
How do you say that?
Thimerosal or thimerosal.
I don't know. All these vaccine people, they love to give them out, right? Your insurance covers it.
Yeah, since everybody's becoming on Obamacare, all these vaccines are covered, and so
Can I say how much I hate that term, Obamacare?
What? Well,
that's good.
Because that's not the law. The law is Affordable Care Act.
Okay, you want to know something?
ACA. Don't give that dick so much credit, right? It's not like he wrote it.
It's called.
Well, I'm just saying
it's still going to be called that when he's not president anymore.
But that's not what it is, though. ACA, Affordable Care Act.
Okay, ACA.
Anyway, sorry, go ahead. That's like calling food stamps the Roosevelt, or who was it? Who signed food stamps into order?
It's Roosevelt.
Roosevelt. That's like calling food stamps the Roosevelts. So yeah, it's not. He didn't come up with the law. It just happened under his suggestion.
His watch.
Right.
Did you know that when you go and file your taxes, they give you this paper that says, well, you need to get on Obamacare, or else you have to pay this much more on your taxes the next year.
Well, right.
And then if you don't, there's a penalty for the next year. And the next year, you have to get on it, or you have to pay more money.
Right, and it's crazy that the Supreme Court ruled that it wasn't a tax, but then it's mandatory, so it's a penalty. So how the fuck does that work if it's not a tax then?
Mandatory taxes. That's all I wanted to say.
Now the other aspect of the whole vaccine things is, other than that it's whether or not it's for the best of the child's well-being or culture for us to eliminate diseases and stuff like that. There's some people that believe that the world's overpopulated, and a good way to sterilize and kill off a lot of people would be to give them these shots.
That's true. It would be so easy to bring upon biological warfare to us through flu vaccines.
It's like how we could become zombies.
Yeah, because so many people are scared into getting them every year, and actually, since last year, there are 30% more people that are getting them.
The scariest people in our society are getting vaccines.
Well, no, I think the scariest people are pushing.
No, they are dangerous. The people that have vaccines in their blood. Right, and they went for the hype, and they have their little product, of course, in their veins for 2 months, right? That's going to protect them from the super Ebola.
For 2 months?
Right. Well, it's not going to, Jen
That's
and
a flu, by the way.
Jen and I talked about that.
Y'all
Jen and I talked about that.
Y'all don't shoot y'all's kids with needles, huh?
No, we don't do needles.
Yeah, that's crazy, right?
No.
You guys are lunatics.
We're pretty sane.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just
haters gonna hate, but I'm
haters gonna hate, but I won't vaccinate.
How many people, Frankie, do you think went over to Walmart and were thinking about Ebola and got a flu shot?
What?
2,000.
That has nothing to do with the other.
No, that has
they
everything
have
to do
nothing
with
to do with each other, right?
But they still did it.
But they'll be all,
They did it because they were going to get a flu shot anyway.
No, they didn't want to get the flu while they had their Ebola.
Everyone gets flu shots.
Okay, but
because they're like,
stupid
I got sick last year, so I'm going to get a flu shot this year.
Now, I'm not going to lie. I've gotten pretty goddamn sick where I had to go to the ER, and it's from a flu-like symptoms, because I basically took 5 steps. I had such bad fever and have all this other stuff. I took 5 steps, and I hit the pavement of the floor, you know. And so I was like, okay, maybe I should go to the hospital. I do get sick, but I get over it, right? You know, I go to the hospital and they let me sit in the waiting room, or they let me sit on a bed for like a couple of hours and sweat it out. Then they pop you with some drugs, and they say, okay, cool, go home, keep taking these, and you'll be good. I've discovered if you eat right, you dress appropriately, you're aware of your surroundings, you know, you sanitize, I guess, yeah, sanitize frequently, you'll be good though. You'll be all right.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm a dirty Mexican. What?
Well,
you look kind of
today, my son Cosmo, he's 7. He has a fever of 100, and he got sent home from school. And my other son, Kyrick, is over there spending the night, and I was kind of worried about them being around each other.
I'm totally worried.
But as long as Cosmo, see, this was last night that he had the fever, not today.
No,
but he had a fever, so he could have something, but he had no other symptoms, just a fever, right? But then I told his dad, and I said, let him fight the fever unless it gets over 103. Don't do anything. If he gets over 103, they give him a cold bath, and he'll be fine.
And usually the thing
because a lot of people are conditioned to think that if you have a fever, you need to bring it down.
Quick. Right.
The fever is the body's reaction to the virus or infection.
Yeah, I did that recalculation, just like you said. I was kind of like, should I let my son go over and play with his brother? He was sick. I want to be a protectionist.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, dude, rock on. Use your immune system and deal with the world head on. But I don't know, because what we're dealing with is the everything that comes out of the public school systems, and stop mouthing that microphone.
It's my microphone.
Yeah, you can pretend to give it a blowjob or whatever you want to do.
You said that on the radio. Oh my, I thought we were never going to become that show. Back to your son and getting an immunity by playing around his brother. And
he is building an immunity.
But see, we don't know what his brother has. Is it a natural ailment? Is it something that he got from a vaccine? Well, it's secondhand vaccine stuff. It's because he
could have picked up
he doesn't actually go and inject.
People that have vaccines
he doesn't
can shed.
shoot viruses,
so
right?
You never know.
So it didn't come directly from the pharmacist. So if it came from a colleague, that's at school, then it's a secondhand virus or a naturally occurring virus.
Mm-hmm. And really, right now, all we have is allergies. And my whole family has allergies all the time. So it could be just that. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I don't care that they're playing together or whatever, because then that gives Kyrick an opportunity to build his immune system being around it. And if he gets it, so what? If he gets a fever, so what? That's your body's reaction to fighting off something, and that's totally natural.
Yeah. That's how a cold doesn't kill you, is because you develop these antibodies or whatever too.
Yeah, you're going to be miserable 3 to 7 days.
It sucks.
It sucks. I've been there, done that.
Okay, so the reason why I brought it up about the whole, there's this other aspect that vaccines are being used to depopulate the earth, because like I said, there's a lot of people, and a lot of them are my friends I've discovered, that believe that this world is overpopulated. And one of those people, he's not my friend, or at least he doesn't act like he's my friend.
Has you ever looked at the world?
But his Bill Gates, right?
Oh,
and he's one of these who have, because of this conversation that he gave, or this talk that he gave at one of these TED Talks, spurred this whole thing of, everybody likes to talk about the Illuminati, the Bilderberg groups, and all this other stuff. But he's a eugenicist, though. He outright admits it. Bill and the Melinda Gates Foundation, they're a big company that pushes the idea of vaccinating not only here but mostly abroad in the third world, right? And so anyways, this is a speech he gave about that, which I found interesting because, like I said, if I'm listening to him correctly, and if you can go to YouTube and look up the video, and if I'm understanding this correctly, he's saying that if we get rid of people, the less people we have, the better off the earth will be. Oh shit, yeah.
We need to meet a new constraint, and that constraint has to do with CO2. CO2 is warming the planet. And the equation on CO2 is actually a very straightforward one. If you sum up the CO2 that gets emitted, that leads to a temperature increase. And that temperature increase leads to some very negative effects. The effects on the weather, perhaps worse, the indirect effects in that the natural ecosystems can't adjust to these rapid changes, and so you get ecosystem collapses. Now, the exact amount of how you map from a certain increase in of CO2 to what temperature will be and where the positive feedbacks are, there's some uncertainty there, but not very much. And there's certainly uncertainty about how bad those effects will be, but they will be extremely bad. I asked the top scientists on this several times, do we really have to get down to near zero? Can't we just, cut it in half or a quarter? And the answer is that until we get near to zero, the temperature will continue to rise. And so that's a big challenge. It's very different than saying, we're a 12-foot high truck trying to get under a 10-foot bridge and we can just sort of squeeze under. This is something that has to get to zero. Now, we put out a lot of carbon dioxide every year, over 26 billion tons. For each American, it's about 20 tons. For people in poor countries, it's less than 1 ton. It's an average about 5 tons for everyone on the planet. And somehow we have to make changes that will bring that down to zero. It's been constantly going up. It's only various economic.
When he talks about that bringing down to zero, he's talking about the
P. We have to go from rapidly rising to falling and falling all the way to zero. This equation has 4 factors, a little bit of multiplication. So you've got a thing on the left, CO2, that you want to get to zero. And that's going to be based on the number of people, the services each person's using on average, the energy on average for each service, and the CO2 being put out per unit of energy. So let's look at each one of these and see how we can get this down to zero. Probably one of these numbers is going to have to get pretty near to zero. That's back from high school algebra, but let's take a look. First, we've got population. The world today has 6.8 billion people. That's headed up to about 9 billion. Now, if we do a really great job on new vaccines, health care, reproductive health services, we could lower that by perhaps 10 or 15%. But there we see an increase of about 1.3. The second factor is the services we use. This encompasses...
So here you got Bill Gates, right?
Mr. Mosquito.
That's funny that you brought that up because in that very same TED Talk, he let go a mosquito-sized drone into that room
and attacked
and displayed
everybody.
So here's Bill Gates, right? This dude who's
guy.
Many people actually are listening to us right now, right?
Don't know who Bill Gates is.
What?
A lot of people. Well, they know he has something to do with Microsoft.
Okay.
Right. When you're talking about Bill Gates, there's the Microsoft Bill Gates, and there's the eugenist Bill Gates. What you just heard was the eugenist. Right. Well, he took all of his Windows money and he focused it on different areas, to reduce populations, bring the CO2 up, bring the people count down. And one of the things that he created was the Bill Gates mosquito, for the lack of a better term, which was able to be produced, and then, you could fill, the sack of whatever, the mosquito, with whatever you want. And then you use that as a delivery mechanism for vaccines. And so he's one of the premier vaccine delivery companies. That clip, I'd never heard that before.
No, I'm pretty sure you have, dude. I mean, that's a pretty popular one. That's pretty old too.
Yeah. I usually just read text and stuff like that.
I try to do that too. I'm a lot better than listening to somebody else talk to me about it.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, Jen's mic's not on.
Thanks.
Come back.
Yeah.
Wait, no, I can't hear you yet.
Say, fly me to the moon.
To the moon.
Yeah.
Does that work?
Hello.
No, you got to bring this one up.
Jesus H. Christ. Oh.
Keep going. Say something else.
All right, something else.
There you
Nope,
go.
I'm gone.
No, I hear you.
I can't hear me.
How about there?
Nope.
How about there?
Yes.
Okay, let's bring this one down. What does that sound
Thank
like?
you so much.
Keep talking.
All right.
You guys got to understand, we really need another mixer.
We extremely need another mixer, ladies and gentlemen. That might have been one of the big of the problems.
Steve.
Well,
we had exterior noise going on here.
That was a Steve issue. I left one knob just like little tweak too far. I don't know. Maybe you guys don't care about.
What are you talking about?
Bill Gates, vaccines, putting balance or serums in mosquitoes and delivering it to an entire population. Because
he actually did that into the room he was just talking in that video.
Yeah, that same video that
I didn't know that.
He released
before that. Yeah, before he starts talking about the equation of CO2, population, and climate shifts or whatever. Before he starts breaking down into that calculation, he's all, I want to introduce y'all to something that's really cool that we're working on, and it's in this little like glass base type looking thing.
Well, I've seen that video before, but I never saw that part. That's crazy.
Same TED Talk, he releases it and it flies off and nobody can track it. I mean, it's the size of a mosquito.
I watched a video where it was cut out. Or it was edited.
Well, the video we played was a short down. It just played that segment that I wanted to focus on.
Well, if you do your query, run it on Bill Gates and vaccine. That's one of the first things that comes up is this little drama. I've never heard that clip before. That's crazy. So what do you think about Ebola, babe?
Well, I don't think much because I don't think it's going to affect us.
How so?
Yeah, I mean, in the long term, I think they're going to control it where it is before it gets anywhere else in the public. That's just my opinion.
What do you mean? I mean,
that's just my opinion.
Oh, well, I know.
It's not a zombie outbreak.
Facts and,
It's they know how bad it is in Africa, and it did come here, but they have it under control. I mean, if it was that bad,
keep talking. Don't worry about it.
If it was that bad, I'd be like, don't let this person go anywhere, and
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
Kind of. I don't know. I'm still.
Well, I don't know. What do you think? You're all like, kinda, my opinion.
Well,
you
everything that I know, I know what you look at is what you look at, and what I look at is what I look at.
Well, tell me a rebuttal. Tell me, what do you think?
Oh, dude.
Do you want to know what I think, guys?
Yeah.
Do y'all care what I think?
Sure. I'm on the fence.
I don't think it's a good idea to, first of all, when a baby's first born, did you know they give them a shot for a vaccine for an STD?
What does that have to do with Ebola?
It has everything to do with Ebola.
Okay,
right?
Go
because
on.
it's a vaccine, right?
All right, go
Ebola
on.
vaccine.
Well, you
There's
introduced...
no Ebola vaccine, Steve.
I think he owns the patent. Didn't I just tweet that on my Twitter's Facebook?
Did you just tweet that on your Twitter's tweet?
Did you just Google all over your MySpace?
Yeah, probably.
So anyways, look, I'll draw you lines to why they all matter, what Ebola has to do with being vaccinated for an STD at birth.
Enlighten us.
So, you get vaccinated at birth for an STD, and then you're vaccinated for this, and then you're vaccinated for that. By the time you're, I want to say 18 months old, you've already received, before your child is, my numbers are a little bit off. But before your child is, let's say 5, and I'll say saying this, before your child's 5, your average child, not y'all's child, right, has received 86 vaccinations.
That's wrong.
Your face is wrong.
It's 49.
No, I think it's 86,
face
man.
is right. 89? No, dude, we're going with Jen. She did all the CDC research today. You know.
I'm about to Google y'all. Hold on. No, go ahead. No, go ahead. Tell me how I'm wrong. Side with your wife and tell me how I'm wrong. Because I tell you, it's 84.
Okay, you Google that, and we're going to talk about Ebola again.
Yeah, go.
Okay,
Go Google
I want you to finish what you were going to say about Ebola.
I don't know. The point I'm doing on Ebola is yesterday's quote new media view on Ebola, right? So is it relevant? Is it not relevant? Is it the new pig swine flu virus?
No, it's nothing like that. I don't think it's anything.
Kinda is.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it totally is.
They put it in the media as a scare tactic.
It's marketing.
Just because it's news, it's people know about it that aren't supposed to know about it, but they know about it, and then they talk to people that talk to people that talk to people, and now it's in the media.
Sells flu shots.
It has nothing to do with fucking flu shots.
But
Steve.
it sells flu shots.
Really?
It does. People think I want to be safe.
God.
I better get my flu shot.
I'm married
How?
to
Who?
you.
What people? Who?
Look, what does it say?
People? Hold
49. What does that say? 49.
You
I
never
was right.
hold on, shut up, Jen. You never take the first pitch, right? That's the first result. You don't ever take that as fact, man. You gotta go like 7 pages deep.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
God.
Yeah. National vaccine. What is that website?
Hey, you can follow FBG Live on Instagram, and I promise you, the
Jen
first.
is always right.
Well, no, I was
Yeah.
just.
I can't
I was
believe
thinking, the first one of us with Ebola, we will film them, and then you can see us die.
What?
Wouldn't that be kind of fun? Not the dying part, but
That's not going to be fun for any party.
This stuff
somebody's
is
going to
just
die, and then somebody's got to clean it up.
You know,
Is
we
Did you just call us stupid?
not us,
Jen,
but I'm
you
talking
just called
about
us
you.
stupid. How you feel about that?
Well, she doesn't feel.
Yeah,
I
she
don't-
took off the headphones.
I don't
She's not
know
even this
much
real.
right now. I'm not getting a coherent response from questions I'm asking.
What did you ask? I didn't hear anything to me.
No, I'm trying to keep on one topic and y'all are jumping around.
Okay, no, let's go back. What are we talking about?
Well, I was talking about Ebola, and you're talking like it's not that serious of a thing, but it is, but it's not.
Well, see,
I'm not. I'm confused.
from what I understand, what he's saying is he's making the argument it's the same thing as prior years with, even after 9/11, anthrax, the same thing with, what is it?
Swine flu, bird flu.
Blow flu. It's just media hype. It's only happening, if anything, on a small level, and it's not really that big of a deal.
So why
the numbers don't add.
Well, I want to ask Steve, why would people go to get the flu vaccine for Ebola? That makes no sense.
They're not too smart.
Okay.
It's a reactionary
I'm just
thing.
wondering why you brought that
They
up.
go, oh, Ebola's everywhere.
Are people that dumb?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
They're actually, the word is programmed. It's not dumb. You know.
That is stupidity right there.
Well, yeah, it's an act
I
of
don't care if people
stupidity,
call me out.
but
That is stupidity.
marketing is strong.
You can call Jen out on Jennifer Renee O'Brien on Facebook, and you can call her out all day long. Or send her an email at fbglive@gmail.com. Care of Jen.
Page too.
Yeah, you can hit up on that and just hashtag it Jenchilla, and tell that girl why she might be wrong about not sticking her kid with needles.
Oh, also, all that I talked about today about the flu vaccine, I got directly from the CDC website, because I'm not a Jenny McCarthy follower.
That bitch is sexy.
Who is she?
Jenny McCarthy, you don't remember her from Single Out on MTV? You know what I'm talking about, right?
No.
No? When do you remember Jenny McCarthy? When she had her own show?
No, when she was talking about vaccines on the internet.
Oh. Oh, God. Oh, okay. Well, I just showed my age again.
Yeah.
You know, 90s. She was on Single Out.
You're 2 years older than me. You're so old.
I will punch you in the face. Like Ray Rice in the elevator.
Oh, my God.
Or like I was a parent disciplining my child. Back to vaccines. Sorry. Back to vaccines, guys.
Dude, I totally don't know who this Rice dude is.
Oh, no. Okay, well, tune in next week and we'll talk about to or not to beat your wife. And when is it socially acceptable to beat your child? And,
okay.
No, I mean, yeah, we got to talk about these things, I guess.
Yeah.
But Ray Rice, to give you, Steve, talk to you, Steve, about it real quick. But Ray Rice was a football player who played for the Baltimore Ravens, got caught on a security camera inside of an elevator. We don't know the audio because only the security camera only provided a visual. But him hitting his wife or his girlfriend, and now he got fired from the NFL.
I did not know that.
Yeah. But yeah, he got fired from the NFL for that, and that's what happened. Wait, you know, just both abandoned me?
Nope, I'm here.
Okay, so anyway.
I think Steve's hungry. Okay.
Yeah, so that's something we can get into later on, or next week. We can get in the whole aspect of child rearing, to what's discipline, what's learning experiences. Because some people believe that physical force or spanking or whatever is an acceptable mean of correction when it comes to raising a child. Now, I haven't attempted to raise one yet.
Yeah.
Right?
And you have to have someone else with an opinion about how they raise their kids, too. It's,
right. But to me as an anarchist, it's really hard for me to go ahead and condone the use of even a smack on the hand or whatever.
And you might even change your mind once you have kids, too.
That's what people keep telling me, but I tell you, that would change me as a core belief, as a core person. I couldn't change them.
Well, I don't spank my kids.
But I've seen you swat.
Yeah, it's not.
I've seen you
A
swat.
spank. It's
I've
like
seen you swat the hand.
A hand?
Yeah.
But anyway, I'll give Kyrie a good pat on the butt to get his attention, you know. That's an attention getter, though. It's not like, wham, I'm mad at you and you deserve that. No, that's messed up.
And
I love you, but you're making me do this.
This hurts me more than it hurts you.
Yeah, right.
That's the greatest one. Well, see, I was raised in a home where we did that, where physical force was meant to change the behavior, and it was socially acceptable. But that's what I'm saying is, as an anarchist, it's really hard for me to accept that, because that's my biggest beef with the government, or with government as a whole. Even people that want to live under a republic or democracy or socialism, fascism, or whatever, you know, collectivism, whatever they want to call it, right? And that's my biggest beef, is that they're willing to use violence to correct my behavior.
Yeah.
Because they don't agree with my behavior.
Yeah, that's what they're training the police state to do.
Right. So what kind of douchebag, or what kind of an asshole, and this is just my own perspective of myself, right? Does that make me to go ahead and spank my child because I don't like their behavior? Right? I would be to, as a parent, would be to prepare our children to understand that, okay, hey, you can make decisions. I've given you all the information that's available, and you can make decisions on your own. But just understand that there's consequences to bad choices. So I've told you that the stovetop is hot, and I've explained to you back and forth. And we've gone over it, I've taken you away from it, and I've tried to distract you from it, But yet you're still determined to touch that stovetop. Well, you touched it, and you burnt yourself. Now, does that make me a bad parent, or does that make me a parent because I allowed my child to burn themselves and understand that, oh, fuck, that's hot. Maybe next time Dad tells me, hey, hot, I won't touch. You know?
Well,
versus me grabbing his hand and going, bah.
Yeah, no, that's wrong. Yeah, my youngest is 21 months, and I let him touch the stove because I was telling him it's hot, you know, and I let him do it, and then now he associates hot with the feeling, right?
Right.
So he hasn't done it since. And that was like 3 weeks ago. So I've been stuck.
Yeah.
I don't spank my kids.
Yeah. And like
I don't need to.
I don't.
Now,
I communicate though.
I need to.
Some people's
children
need a beating. That's
like,
just a southerner and you're talking right there, buddy.
They must eat a bunch of junk food and artificial crap and cardboard in their diet because they are crazy.
Yeah.
Probably being biased, but they are. Some of these kids in Walmart are crazy.
Well, there's a difference between punishment, discipline, and structure.
Yes, that's true.
And you know, and it's the whole thing versus nurture. If you're bringing your child up in a stable environment and a communicative or where there's a communication is emphasized environment, then the child learns to understand that if I throw a fit in the middle of Walmart, that's not going to get me candy. But if I sit there and I go and I can argue with Mom and explain to her why I deserve this candy, chances are I'll get this candy.
Or not.
Or not. Right.
I don't
my odds are the same. But do I want to look like an ass? Because kids are smart and they can understand a lot of things. And they're like, well, do I want to look like an ass and just throw a fit?
Let me tell you something. The other day, Cosmo asked me, why don't we ever go to McDonald's? I want to go to McDonald's. And I said, honey, because you don't understand what kind of food that is, and it's bad for you, and you just don't understand. And you'll understand better when you get older. But that's all I could say because he was just why, you know.
Right.
That's all I could say.
Well, what is Cosmo? He's like
bad.
7, 8?
He's 7.
Right, 7. Right. Well,
all he is mad at me, you know.
Wait, well, I mean, I think he's old enough and willing and open-minded enough.
Am I gonna go show
understand
him YouTube videos of
like
fake chicken parts being
I think
smashed
so.
and
or no, I mean, a little tamer is
which chicken nuggets
what is his name? Mike Adams. You know, the health ranger. This is a little tamer. He just shows how it's a plastic molecule that makes up chicken nuggets. You know, there's nothing grotesque and gruesome about it. It's just looking under a microscope. I think Cosmo would accept that pretty decently.
But he wants the toy.
Right, that's all he cares about.
The playground experience.
But you can do that. Well, Fredericksburg doesn't have a playground to begin with.
Yeah, no.
We don't believe in playgrounds.
But you know what I mean. Like fast food places.
Well, that's because everybody else is doing that.
That's why the kids want to go.
Well, yeah, because that's what the culture
and because they get
hype.
soda. And Cosmo doesn't drink soda.
No.
So it's
bullshit.
He doesn't even like it. So I'm glad.
Okay. And so, so we've kind of pointed out that there's a lot of reasons that vaccines are kind of a moot point. Because you can vaccinate your child and chances are you're still going to catch something. You're going to get sick. Or you can not vaccinate your child and chances are, this is the weird part, you're not going to get sick. You know, and but yet by the hundreds, by the thousands, people send their kids every day to public schools under this impression that, well, if I want to send my kid to school, I have to shoot them up with all these things. And nobody really looks into, well, why do I have to get these shots?
Well, you know, influenza is not just the only sickness you can get during the fall-winter season. You can get stomach bugs and
all these other kind of viruses and bacterial infections. And you know the reason why they don't put the flu as a cause of death on the death certificate?
I was going to say on the birth certificate. I would understand that.
Certificate. It's because, well, there's many flu-like symptoms. Sorry, what?
There's so many flu-like symptoms. Go ahead.
That act like other symptoms that are actually bacterial infections.
What?
So yeah, people, like your doctor diagnoses you with flu, but actually you have something else. Anyways, Frankie's going to leave the room for a minute, and I'm here talking about myself, and I never do this, and I don't like talking about myself. Oh, I wanted to tell y'all, do you know about the National Vaccine Injury Compensation Program? Which is, it's a program in which you receive compensation if you've been vaccine injured, and you can only get these compensations if you have these vaccine injuries, and they're only specific, right? It has to be a specific kind of vaccine, and it has to be a specific kind of injury before you get any kind of compensation.
Does it explain like what they are?
Yeah, there's a table of it. There's a table that explains it on the CDC website.
Yeah.
But I read today that if you take the flu vaccine and you get any kind of adverse reactions, if you get a so-called vaccine injury, you cannot file for compensation, even for death.
And that's on the flu one?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Does it explain why you can't
No,
file?
it says no, it says sorry. Where is it?
Where is it indeed?
Where is it? It says you can't. No compensation whatsoever.
What?
Yep. No condition specified, which means like your injury, right?
Uh-huh.
And what compensation you get, it says non-applicable. So that means nothing. You get nothing.
You get nothing.
Yeah.
But that's only from the flu, though.
Yes.
If you get one of the other vaccines, like the HPV or something
yeah,
like
that's
that,
totally different. But they're very specific on this table on their website.
Uh-huh.
It's a very specific program. What kind of injuries you have. And it can range from stuff like arthritis to anaphylactic shock to death. You know, people get vaccine injured all the time. Well, what about autism? That's not considered an injury. It's a mishap that, well, okay, have you heard about that guy? Oh, I forgot his name. Something Williams or Will something, I forgot. He's a CDC whistleblower, right? He used to work for them. And he came out to the public last month, like the 28th or something, saying that thimerosal does make a big difference in the change of autism rates.
Really?
Especially in black males.
Go figure.
Yeah, so autism rates are going up. That's not a secret. Not something to be hidden, yeah. And this guy came out to the public. Yeah, it's probably the thimerosal. And I'm not talking about flu vaccines. This is all of them put together.
Okay.
This is people that just get their vaccines on a normal basis.
Yeah. Your normal vaccines that you're supposed to go through.
Yeah, recommended, yes.
Okay, well, we're approaching the end of the show. Jen, it's always been fun, right? This is great. This was FBG Live Friday. I'm Frankie. Steve was here. Jen.
Steve's eating chili.
Steve's eating chili.
Steve says bye.
Yeah, Steve says adios.
Bye.
FBG Live Friday. Tune in to us next week. Catch us on the next Digital Resistors, Monday, 7 p.m. Texas time. Yeah. Maybe one day we'll all experience freedom. stay tuned for a little bit afterwards, and for a little bit of rap news, because news is always important.
And like I've always said, anarchists be thou for the people.
Let the man go. Move up and let the man go. Let the man go. Move up and let the man go. Move up and let the man go. Let the man go through. Move aside and let the man go.
Robert Foster on top roster with perfect precision, flipping this transmission of rap news journalism. This edition, we're shocked by the apparently surplus surfeit of worsening urgent news stories that in the world have arisen. Deadly epidemics, an airliner shot down by militants, giant sinkholes confirm dire climate change predictions, the slaughter of women and children, fascism, and if that's not sufficient, we lost Robin Williams. How does humanity manage to cope and survive with all of these calamities happening all at the same time? To find out, tonight we'll tune into the mainstream media line. Hold on tight, I'll see you on the other side. Turn up the rest. Tune in to the best of the best. I'm Brian Washington, one of the vets of this nation's press. The time is 6. Switch on your television sets to get your daily fix of headlines right here on MSNBS. In Gaza, Hamas attacks Israeli missiles with children. In Russia, could these sinkholes be a new source of free heating? In Ferguson, nothing is happening. World mourns death of Robin Williams, national tragedy. In our main story, the Mid-Oil East is attacked by a group of ruthless savages. For deep analysis, we have an exclusive interview with General Baxter. General, a massive new threat to world peace? I know exactly what you mean. Everything will be going great, actually improving. In the American Empire, or planet Earth as some refer to it, if it wasn't for that cavalier racketeer Vladimir Putin, thanks to him it's become a dangerous planet here for humans. Putin? Frickin' Putin. He's on a killing spree. It was his missile that blew flight MH17 to smithereens. In March, he launched Operation Crimea Unpunishment. Now he's set to march in and invade Ukraine. Astonishing. Seizing territory, giving weaponry to extremist lunatics? Honestly, no surprise those arms they used to commit atrocities. Who would ever do such a thing? No. In other news, what's the latest from the state of Israel? We're sending our buddy Bibi plenty of weapons and munitions. Those arms are used in heroic self-defense missions. Operation Dropping the Hedge was a crowd pleaser. It was a hell of a pinpoint operation, a cutting-edge procedure, hitting the terrorist human shields with a death-death precision in schools, hospitals, ambulances, UN shelters even. Very efficient. We'll be right back after this message.
Experiencing cognitive dissonance when reading the news? You may be suffering from irony sufficiency. Try Irony Guard. Removes all the painful irony so you can go about your day. Irony Guard.
Welcome back. Many are calling for boycotts and sanctions. Your reaction? No question. Putin deserves punitive action. He's even arming Bashar al-Assad, the madman assassin who's massacring Syrian civilians by the thousands in a civil war that shows no signs of subsidence. Thankfully, we armed Syrian rebel groups to avert a crisis. You mean groups like ISIS? Yes. I mean, no. Well, kind of. Hold that thought, General. Let's give our audience some guidance. Who is ISIS? What are they seeking to do? Fortunately, they're very active on social media, too, where they cunningly disseminate their hateful, deviant views. Watch their latest viral video by a recent recruit. Yo, infidels, better listen. Yo, so check it. This is IS. View corpse, this is scary. You're now face to face with a formidable adversary. We're ready to carry out beheadings in any enemy village and spread our rigid medieval beliefs on the Twitter feed. In it, with a military force, wait you back, pushing your own weapons back on you, yelling Allahu Akbar. Gotta be rock stars with rocket launchers, jacking the cars, destined to bring Sharia law direct to your backyard. But Mom,
downstairs now. You can do jihad later.
General, what do you make of all this? Bucky, these creeps are total scumbag jihadis, led by the Mag Daddy of Iraq, al-Baghdadi. I heard he's 80 times eviler than Osama bin Laden. Probably. So which tyrant is giving these lunatics weaponry? Well, remember how in 2003 we liberated Iraq, then armed the Iraqi army after we finished destroying the Iraqi army with our army? Yeah. The arms we armed the Iraqi army with couldn't defend the Iraqis and got hijacked as ISIS armaments. So now we're dropping our bombs to bomb the bombs we gave to them Iraqis to make Iraq safe, again. Now IS is on the rampage, expanding the caliphate. It's a reverse crusade, and these fanatics love to decapitate and cut necks. And they're coming for us next. That is correct. This could well be worse than 9/11 if left unchecked. So what can we do to stop them? How can we fight this? We must expand Operation Unintentionally Support ISIS by arming the Kurds, the Yazidis, and Malaysian airliners. That should put a stop to Putin inciting all this violence.
Silence!
What the? Stand by while we fix our devices.
People have arrived to leak the lies of the mainstream media tyrants.
Who the heck are you?
Terrence Mooney from the League of Defiance. I've hijacked the feed to bring you the truth hiding behind these events. These child deaths in the news are heathen sacrifices by the Illuminati. Check their symbol. See where the line is? Divided. That's an I and an S. Multiply it. What does it spell? ISIS. The Egyptian goddess protector of the dead and children. That's right, kids. But that's just the surface of the crisis upon us. 3 massive sinkholes have appeared in the Yamal province. You think it's coincidence Yamal means end of the world? Forget methane. Those are tunnels for the elite to escape into the hollow earth once Obama brings the Ebola bioweapon to America.
What do you mean?
Untested vaccine injections are spreading it beyond the African area. Next is FEMA quarantine and militarized police emerges when they bring in martial law. Just look at Ferguson. The whole world is about to go Shazbot. It's a plot by the Freemasons.
This guy's Freemason.
Only the Pleiadian aliens can save us.
Ridiculous.
It's no laughing matter, George. They've deprived us of laughter by staging the death of Mork.
Sorry, that was just static in the satellite dish.
Lies! What? Terrence is back like a virus. I'm wireless.
Now look here, I'm the host.
You're just the host.
Now you understand why we torture some folks?
Everybody listen. The news is just a form of escapism. They make us live in comforting delusions by weaving improbable, elaborate narratives to but the truth is succinct and plausible. Reptilian.
You idiot blowhead. Forget your Prozac dosage.
Shut up, Baxter. Don't you have an Afghani corpse to pose with?
You scandal. No, calm down. This is a serious news channel. Up next, celebrity pet scandal.
All right, I think we've witnessed enough to get a sense of how we cope in the midst of the flood of overwhelming catastrophes that's building up. Be it mainstream or moon seas, a news feed performs an indispensable function as a sort of medicinal crutch that aids us on a daily basis to deal with the crushing gravity of the tragedies and other maladies that keep humanity gripped in their clutch. Fortunately, here at Rap News, we like to say such. Do not adjust the language. Give us truth of injustice, candid, untampered with, free from fanciful narratives, savage ironies unredacted. For the juice is the only remedy that can vanquish it.